Hello friends, today in this session we'll go through ServiceNow Developer Course where we'll mainly focus on scripting in ServiceNow. We'll go through server-side scripting, client-side scripting, jelly scripting and the scripting in Service Portal. I have already a dedicated playlist available in my channel on Service Portal, so you can go through that as well. But I'll discuss one use case in the Service Portal as well. Okay. Now, next in server-side scripting, we'll see background scripts, business rules. Script includes UI actions, notification email scripts, inbound email actions, schedule jobs, and then script actions, scripted REST APIs. I'll not discuss more on scripted REST API because I'll create a separate dedicated video for integrations. There, I'll discuss more on this. Then we'll see service portal widget, server-side script, and fix scripts, relationships, server-side, glide APIs, and workflow run script activity. Okay, and then in client side scripting we'll go through client scripts and catalog client scripts. Basically these two are same. Client scripts are written on any table and catalog client scripts are written on catalog items. Okay, and then we'll go through UI policies, catalog UI policies, UI scripts, and then client side glide APIs. Okay, and in jelly scripting we'll go through UI pages, UI macros, and dynamic contents. We'll not discuss much on this. We'll go through it with an use case, but we'll discuss more in a separate dedicated video on jelly scripting. At last, we'll go through service portal where we'll discuss widget server side script, widget client side script, HTML, CSS with an use case. Before we begin, if you have not watched my ServiceNow administration video, please go and watch that first. I'll put the link in the description. Through that, you will get the platform knowledge, and then we can start with the scripting here. Okay. Now let's start with the background scripts. To do that, we have to write here scripts, and then we'll get scripts background here. Okay, and if you have installed the SN utils, then directly we can write slash bg. That will open the background script for us. Okay, now this looks like this, and we can start with the logs first, because for developer logs is very important. So I'll just write gs.log, and then I'll write test. Okay, okay, now let's run this. Okay, so we can see the test here. Now that is it is log, right? So it is added to the logs table in the backend. So let me go to logs. So if we type in logs, then in the system logs, so we can open all. You can see test is added here. Now the filter applied is created on today, but for that also we have 6,300 plus records here. So it is very difficult to get our log here. So for that, what we can do is we can add the second parameter here. I'll say ServiceNow Universe, for example. ServiceNow Universe, and I'll just run the script again. Okay. Now if I refresh the page, now I can see the test here, but with the source ServiceNow Universe. Earlier the source was script. Now the source was ServiceNow Universe. So what I can do is I can just show match this. Okay. Now I have only those logs here which are where the source is ServiceNow Universe. Okay. Now this log function is allowed only in global scope, not in scope applications. So for scope applications, we have one more function, that is gs.info. So I'll just write here gs.info and then testing. But this is allowed in both global and scope applications. So currently I don't have any scope application here, but this function is allowed in scope applications as well. So if I go here and if I refresh, so I can see this is testing is added here. Okay. Now we have one more function, that is gs.error, and if I run this, so let me just go here and refresh this page. So we can see this is error. Okay. For gs.info, we can see the level is information, but for error, the level is error here. Okay. Now this is also allowed in both scope application and in the global application. Now we have one more function here, that is gs.print. So I'll just add print here. Now we can see that is printed here in the background script, but if I go back and refresh the page, that is not added to the log. Okay. And that is only for testing in the background script. So that will, you can see the output here, but that will not be added to the backend table. Okay. And basically this background script is used to test the server side scripts, and if everything looks fine, then we can add it to the business rule script, includes UI actions wherever we need. Okay, let's see now some server side glide APIs in background script. Okay. Now the first one and the important one is the GlideRecord API. And to do that, I'll just open the incident table. I'll use SN Utils to do that. So I have this here. Now what I'll do is I'll just go here and I'll just write a glide record. So to initiate that, so what we have to do is we have to write GRINC. This can be anything, okay? But best practice is to start it with GR and then INC, okay? Whatever is the table name, okay? Then I'll do new, then glide record, and then incident. Okay. Now this GRINC is initialized with the incident glide record. Okay. Now GRINC is the glide record object we have. Okay. Now I'll write GRINC dot query. So this will query the whole table. Okay. Now if I want to check the number of incidents, okay, total number are 67. So if I want to check that, then I'll use gs dot log as I am in global scope, or I'll use gs dot print. I don't want to add it to the backend logs table. So I'll just do GRINC dot get row count. Okay. And I'll simply run it. Now I can see there are 67 incidents in the table. Okay. Now what I'll do is to go through each one, I'll do while grinc dot next. Okay. And then I'll proceed. Okay. Before that, we have one more function. I'll just write grinc dot print. Sorry, gs dot print. Okay. So we have one more function, that is grinc dot has next. Okay. This tells the system that there are incident records present or not. There are 67 incident records, so it is definitely there are records present here. That's why it is true. If there are no records, if there are zero records, then it will return false. Okay. Sometimes we need this function as well in the code. Okay. Now we have 67 records, so we want to print that. So let's print it. So for printing, again we'll use gs.print. Okay. And then what we'll do is I'll do short description. Short description is, and then what I'll do grinc dot short description. Okay. And I'll just run this. So now I can see for okay, this is short. Now you see the short description. For each incident, we have the short description here. Okay. Now, if I want to print the number, then I'll simply add the number, and this is number. So we can see all the numbers here. Okay. Now if I go back here, then how to this is the label of the field. Now we want to get the technical name. So what we can do is we can use the SNUtils again and just write TN here. So we will see the technical name, the number, and for short description it is short underscore description. Okay. Now we can see these are not ordered, right? So number is 60 is first, and then 002. So if you want to order it by number, then what we can do is we can add grinc dot order by. Okay. And we want to order it by number, right? So we'll do it like this. Now if I run this, now we can see it is ordered 1 2 3, and it will go here 60. After that it starts with 601. That's why it is like that. Okay. Now it is sorted, list is sorted. If we want to sort it by descending order, then I'll just do order by des. Okay. Then this will sort in descending. Okay. Now I want to select only 10. I'll do order by. Okay. Now I don't want to see all the 67. Okay. I want to see only 10. Right. So what I can do is I'll do grinc dot set limit. So out of 67, I just want to see 10. So I'll do like this. Okay. Now I'll see only 10 here. Okay. Now, if I do this zero, okay, definitely this has next should be false, right? Because we don't have any records. We are setting the limit to zero. Okay. So I'll see. So the total count is zero, and has next is false, and it is not entered the while loop. Okay. Now let me make it back to 10. So now these 10 records are starting from beginning 1 to 10 here, right? So I want to see 10 to 11. For example, let me just go here and I can just sort here as well. So I'll do sort A to Z in the list. Okay. Now this is 1 to 10 here. I want to see 10, 11 to 20, right? So for that also we have one more function here. I'll do choose window. Okay. Then what window we can choose is 10 to 20. Okay, now I can see from 11 to 20 here. Now I can change the window to more records as well. Okay, now this will show me 20 records. Now let's add the query. Okay, so I'll remove this one. Now I'll go back to the incidents table. I'll just add here active is true. Okay, this is the filter. Okay, now I don't want to remember this all to add the filter here. So what I'll just do is I'll just copy this, right click and copy query. I'll just go back here, I'll add grinc dot add query, and I'll add this query. Okay, and I'll just simply run this. Okay, now we can see there are total 40 records, 40 active records. Okay, if we go, then see we have total 40 active records here. So we can edit like this. Okay, now if it is if the field name active is present in the system, then we can simply bypass this and add grinc dot add active query. Okay, so this will add the same condition, active is equal to true. Let me do this. Okay, again we have the same result here. Okay, now I'll just build this query more. Okay, now I'll say and created on last 6 months, for example. Okay, I want to see only those incidents which are created in last 6 months. Okay, now the list is sorted to 22. Now I'll just copy this query and I'll remove this and I'll add this query here. Okay, now I'll run the code. Now we can see there are 22 records here. Okay, now with this also we can use the set limit. So out of 22, how many we want to see? Okay. Okay. Now out of this 22, we want to see only those records where assignment group is present. So here it is empty. So I can add. There are two ways for this. So I can add and I'll say assignment group is not empty, and I'll run this. I'll copy the query and I'll go back and I'll add this. Okay. So I will add this. Now those are removed and total records are 13. Okay. There is one more way we can do that. I'll just do Control Z. So this is earlier one. So we have 22 records here. Okay. Now we can add one more line here, that is grinc dot add not null query. Okay. Not null query. And inside that we need to pass the field name where we want to see if the data is present or not. So I'll run this. Again, we have 13 records here. Okay, this is how we can use this, and there are many functions. So to find out that, we'll just go to glide record ServiceNow in Google, and yeah, we'll open this documentation and go to this glide record API. So it opens the developer.servicenow site, and here we can check both server scope and server global. Okay, and in this I'll just write glide record. Okay, so now we can see glide record here. Okay, so we have add activity. There are different functions here, so we can use all those functions. Okay. Okay. Now with glide record, we were using this get record function to get the count of the records in that table, right? Now this is not best practice. Actually, we cannot use that in the actual script. For that, we can use glide aggregate as well. That is the next glide API we'll discuss. Okay. So that is glide aggregate. Okay. So now I'll do GAINC, because now this is glide aggregate. That's what GA. Okay. And then I'll do new glide aggregate, and then we'll pass incident. Okay. Now I'll do GAINC dot query. Okay. So same way how we did in glide record. Okay. Now I have to add one more thing here. GAINC dot add aggregate. Okay, now this add aggregate is uh, what it gives the count back, because we are adding the count in the add aggregate. Okay, now we have others as well, we will discuss that in some time. Okay, now what I'll do is, now I'll do ga if GAINC dot next. Okay, then what I want is, I want to print. Now what we'll print is GAINC. Now we have added the aggregate. Now we'll get the aggregate. Okay. Get aggregate and then count. Okay. And here in the aggregate, A should be capital. Okay. Now let me just run it. Now we can see there are 67 records here. Okay. And here also we can add the query. For example, this. Okay, in this we have 13 records here, right? So I can just simply add that as well. GAINC dot add query, same way how we did in glide record. So now we can see there are 13 records here. Okay, now with glide aggregate we can group by as well, like how we do it in list view. I'll go here and I'll group by assignment group. Okay, this. Okay, now for hardware we have three records for network one, service desk three, software six. Now I want to do that in the script, right? So for that I can go here and I'll just simply do uh, GAINC dot group by. So I want to group by what? Assignment group by assignment group. Okay, now I'll run this. It is showing only three because we have if here. So because there are four group record, right? So we have four records here, one for hardware, network, service desk, software. Then that's why we have to do while. Okay, now I'll run. So we have 3136 here. Okay, 3136. Now I want to print the name as well, right? Of the assignment group. So I'll simply write GAINC dot get display value, and I'll just add assignment. Okay, and I'll write a colon here. Okay, now just run it. Okay, now we can see for hardware we have three records: network one, service desk three, and software six records. Okay, now we have grouped by the assignment group. Now if I try to print here, for example, ds.print, and if I try to print the number, that will not work. Dot number, this will not work. Okay, you see that is undefined. Okay, because now it is referring to this one. Okay, for this we don't have any uh, number here, right? So for that you can group by two fields as well. Okay, now I'll do GAINC dot group by. Okay, I'll say number. Now we can see both number and uh, the hardware, oh sorry, the assignment group. Okay, now your number is unique, right? That's why we are getting only one record here for each. So let me just go here and search for something which is, yeah, we have hardware here, right? So for service desk, that is inquiry and help, right? So we'll group by assignment group and category. Okay, so I'll just go here and do category. Okay, now let me just run it. Okay, okay, and I'll have to write here category. Okay, okay, so now we can see for hardware group we have two. In the hardware group itself the category is network. Such records we have one record. Okay, now in here service desk, that is empty. For example, I think if we go here in the service desk, for some of them I think category is empty. Yeah, here you can see the category is empty. That's why it is showing such records where category is empty is one, and for service desk where category is inquiry is two. Okay, and for software where category is inquiry, those are two, and for software where category is software we have four. So we can group by two fields as well. Okay, now we have done count and we have done the group by. So let me remove the group by, and now we can do some. Okay, like we can do some here in the list view. For example, we have the updates field here. Now I want to see the sum of this, right? So what I can do is in the list view I'll just simply go here and configure list calculations. Okay, I'll say total value. Okay, now what it will do is for these 13 records uh, it will add these all 11 plus 7 plus 5 till 10. The total is 227. Okay, now we can do the same in the script as well in glide aggregate. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll simply do sum. Okay, instead of count I'll simply do sum, and we have to say which field we need to use for sum. Okay, so that is sysmod count, right? Sysmod count. Okay, now here I'll just remove this one. Okay, I'll remove this one as well. Okay, now here what I have to say again, get aggregate sum, and again we have to say which field. Okay, sysmod count. Okay, now I'll just do this. Now it's not added the sum here because of group by. Actually, we need to group it by something to add that. So I'll do group by and assignment underscore group. Okay, and then we can show here assignment group like how we showed it last time. GAINC, sorry, GAINC dot get display value will show me the value which is visible in the list. For example, it's software. But if we just use get value, then it will give me the sysid because that is the reference field, the sysid of the group. Okay, so that's why I'm using display value here. And I'll do assignment underscore. Okay, now let's run this. Okay, now we can see for hardware it is 49, network 3, service test 23, software 152. So what we'll do is I'll just do assignment group is equal to software, and let's see now how much it is. The sum that is 152. Okay, now we can see the sum as 152 for software. Same way we can use that. Now in the same way we can use the average as well. I'll do average, and here also I'll do average, and we have this. Now for software it is 25.33, so I can do that here in list view as well. I'll go to configure list calculations, and I'll do average. Okay, now we can see 25.33 is the average. Now we can again do same with minimum and maximum. So let me just go here and add these two as well, maximum and minimum. Okay, now we can see minimum is 4, maximum is 94 in that. So let me just add that. I'll first add max. Okay, and let's see, maximum is 94 in software. Okay, and minimum should be 4, right? So I'll just add minimum, and that is 4 here. Okay, so this is how we can use glide aggregate to get the row counts group by, and there are many other functions as well, so we can go to the documentation to check that. Okay. Okay, next Glide API we'll check is the Glide system. For this, we don't need to initialize it like this, like GS and then new Glide system. Okay, we don't need to do it like this. Okay, that is already, this GS is already available here. So if I go, let me this GS dot print, right? So this GS itself is a Glide record function. Okay, now what I can do is inside this, I'll just print GS dot now. Okay, so this will print me the today's date. Okay, now if I do gs dot yesterday, okay, so it will print me the yesterday's date. Okay, now there are many functions here in gs, like gs dot is logged in. Okay, for example, so we can just check if the user is logged in or not. Okay, with this gs is logged in, and we can check the session as well, gs dot get session. Okay, and if I do session id, then this is the session id. Okay, current session id. Okay, and okay, no. Okay, with gs we can just use a get current scope name function. Okay, this will give me the application scope name which I am in. Okay, that is the global application. Okay, if I do get current application id, okay, then it will give me the current application id that is global. Okay, if I do get current application name, then it will give me the current application name. Okay, when we are in scope application, it gives the scope application name here. Okay, now if I do get the caller application name, for example caller application name, then this is null here because we are not calling this script from any other script, right? If you are calling, then it will give me the caller scope name. Okay, okay, if I do gs dot get date format, okay, then it will give me the date format of the system. Okay, and that is stored in here in the date format system property. Okay, now if I do date, give me the time format. Okay, then you can see it will give me the time format here, and that is also stored here in this. Now if I say get me both date time format, then it will club those both and it will give me the date time format here. Okay, and this way we can use all the functions in the glide system API. Okay, now we can go to the documentation for the glide system and see all the functions here, and there is documentation for each function as well. And this is for server scope, and we can see for server global as well. Okay, mostly the functions are common. A few of the functions are available in server global, and those are not available in server scope. So those are all listed here. So we can go through this documentation once. The next API which we'll discuss is GlideDateTime. This is very very important. And if I just do this new GlideDateTime, GlideDateTime, then it will give me the today's date. Okay, today's date with the time. Okay, time in UTC format. Okay, so here also we can initialize it to, for example, let me just, and I can initialize it to GDT glide date time, and then I'll do this. Okay, now I can add the GDT here. Okay, now I want to add days to it, then I have a function for that, GDT dot add days. Okay, then if I add 1 day, then it will show me 26 here instead of 25. Okay, it is 26. If I add 10 days, then it is showing me 10 after 10 days. Okay, now if I want to add the 10 days before, then I'll just do minus 10 days, then it will show me 10 days before. Today's date is 25, it shows me uh, 10 days ago. Okay, so we can use add days here. Okay, now same as days, you can add weeks as well. Add weeks. Okay, so if we add 10 weeks ago, then it goes to 10 weeks ago. Okay, and if it is plus, then it adds 10 weeks from now. Okay, now we can add seconds. So there are many functions here to add. Okay, so if I write, then we can see we can add months, we can add seconds, we can add years as well. So in this way we can use add functions. Okay, now let's compare the dates. Okay, now here if we don't add anything, any parameter in glide date time, then it shows us the current date time, but we can add the parameter here as well. For example, I'll add 2024 05 23, and I'll add time as 0000 and 00. Okay, now I want to compare this date with the other date, so I'll create one more variable, gdt2 for example, and I'll do new glide date time. Okay, and I'll just copy this date, I'll just keep 1 day before. Okay, so now let's compare this. Okay, so what I'll do is gs.info. Okay, and I'll do gdt dot compare to. Okay, I'll compare the first date with the second one. Okay, so for that we have to write like this, gdt2. Okay, now let's just run this. Okay, now this has returned 1. It means the first date, that is gdt, is after the second date. Okay, now if both are equal, then it is 0. Okay, now if this is the first date is before the second date, then it is -1. Okay, so this is how we can compare the dates, and this is very very important. This can be useful for any developer working on any project actually. Okay, now I can do gdt dot get day. If I do get date, then this will give me the date part. Okay, only the date part of the date time. Okay, now if I'll do gdt dot get day of month. Okay, then it will return me the day of month, that is 25th day of month. Today is 25th day of month. Okay, now if I do get day of week, then it gives me today's that is fourth day of the week. Okay, now if I add some time here, sorry, date time 2024. Now I want which day of week this was, so I can do that. Okay, this was first day of the week. Okay, so this is how we can use, and there are different functions here, so we can use that. So you can explore glide date time, and you can explore glide date as well. Okay, and we'll use this in our use cases in business rule UI actions and the scripting we do in next part. Okay, now let's discuss business rules and work on some use cases. The use case number one is let's create incident tasks. These are the incident tasks when the critical one incident is created in the incidents table. Okay, let's create an insert business rule on incidents table to create incident task when the critical one incident is created. Let's go to business rules. Okay, I'll create a new one. Okay, I'll name it create incident tasks. Okay, so I'll click on advanced and I'll go here. I'll select after because I want it after the incident is created, right? So I'll do insert and I'll add here priority is critical. Okay, when priority critical is created, then only will create the incident task, right? Okay, so what I'll do is variable grinc task equal to new glide record, right? uh, I'll just copy the incident task table name here, that is incident underscore task. Okay, then to create a new record we have to initialize the object here, so that I will do with initialize function. Okay, now the first thing is we need to link this incident with the incident task. That's why we have a field called incident here, so we need to add that first. Okay, so we'll take incident, so here grinc task dot incident, and that is a reference field. That's why we need to add the sysid to it, so that is current.sys underscore id dot dot toString is to make sure will not have the object in the field. Okay, sometimes the field returns the object, that's why we'll add toString. Okay, to all the string fields, and reference is in the backend it is a string field and that stores the sysid of the record. Okay, so if you are doing current.sysid, then we are passing the sysid of the incident, and this is the reference field that understands that the sysid of the incident is passed, and it will show the incident on incident task record. Okay, okay, now we'll go to grinc.task. Now we have short description there. Okay, so we'll pass the same short description, current dot short description dot toString again. Okay, now I want to add some text here. For example, this is task. Okay, so I can do it like this. Okay, and I'll add gr and task dot assignment group, for example, is same as the current assignment toString. Okay, now let's create it. Now to create it, grinc dot insert. Now let me just save this. Okay, now to create the record I need I can create it manually or through any script. So first we'll create manually. Okay, to create it manually I'll open the incidents table, so I'll use SNUtils again. Okay, I'll create a new incident. Okay, I'll add caller as able tutor, and I'll add my laptop is not working, some short description, and I'll add some assignment group here. Okay, and I'll save the record. Okay, as soon as we save this record, it should create one incident task because we have the business rule in the backend. Okay, the incident is created. Now let me just refresh the task. Okay, the task is not created. What is the issue? Okay, okay, I think it is not priority one, right? That's why we have not added it as priority one. So let me create one more because this will not work on update, this will work on create. So if I change the sysid to -1 in the URL, then it will open me the new form. Okay, now let me select able tutor again. I'll say my laptop is not working. Okay, I'll add some assignment group. I'll add impact as high and urgency as high. That will create priority as high. Okay, now I'll save this. Okay, now the incident is created. Let me just refresh this. Okay, now we have a new incident task is created here through that business rule. Okay, now we can see that here. Okay, now the same thing we'll do through script, and let's see the difference. And we'll use one function called set workflow false when we don't want to trigger the business rules from the script. Okay, so I'll write gr inc equal to new glide record, and we'll not now create a new record. We'll use the existing one to insert it, so we'll have that use case as well. Okay. Okay, now to do that, what we'll do is we'll do if grinc dot get. Okay, so this is to get one record, one single record of the table. Okay, now we have to pass the sysid of that incident there. Okay, so we'll pass the sysid of that incident, and we are ready to go, and we have now access to this whole incident. Okay, now this is similar to adding grinc dot add query, and then we'll add sys underscore id is equal to plus, and then the sysid here. Okay, and then what we'll do, grinc dot query, and then what we'll do, if grinc dot next. Okay, and then we'll have access of that record in this. Okay, so we have to write two lines here. Okay, but here we can eliminate those two lines, and we can directly have access to that record. Okay, so if you want to have access to a single record of any table, then we can use get function. Otherwise we can add query, like we have seen already. Okay, now I want to duplicate this incident. So what I can do simply is I'll simply do grinc dot insert. Okay, so now I did not set any field here. Okay, so this will, what it will do, it will copy all the fields from this, and it will create a new incident record. So I'll just do this. Okay, it has created, and let me open the list view. So in the url, if you do incident, the table name, that is underscore list, then it will open the list view for us. And let me just make it z2. uh, yeah, this is the new one which is created. Okay, it has copied the number as well, you can see. And let me go to the incident tasks, and it has created one new incident task as well here. Okay, now we don't want this incident task to be created when the incident is created through script. Okay, for example, when this is created manually, I want it to be created, but when it is created from the script, I don't want the incident to be created. Okay, that what we can do is we can add grinc dot set workflow, and then I'll say false. So now if I trigger this, okay, now you see incident is created, but the other records are not created. For example, if I go here and refresh this, okay, there is one more incident created, one more duplicate incident is created, but if I go to incident tasks table, I don't have any new record here. It's because of this. Okay, it means workflow means the business rules. It will stop all the business rules. It will not execute all the business rules. Okay, so this is how we can stop the business rules. Okay, now while inserting the duplicate record, I don't want I think, let me just go here. I don't want, okay, let me open this. So I don't want the short description to be copied. I want different short description there, for example. Then what I can do is I'll simply write here. Okay, I'll not, I'll simply write the short description field here. I'll simply set the short description field to something else. Something else. Okay. So now all the other fields will be copied, but only the short description will not be copied. Okay, so let me just create it. Okay, and if I go here and refresh the incidents table, okay, now we can see this is created. Only short description is different, but color is same, number is same, the assignment group is also same. Okay, now if you want to change multiple fields, then we can set those fields, but the remaining fields will be same as this incident. Okay. Okay, now the second use case is, now whenever we add the work notes to the incident task, that should be copied to the related incident here. Okay. Okay, for that, let me create the business rule on incident task. Okay, now I'll do update business rule. Now we have seen insert business rule. I will see update business rule. Okay, I'll create a new one. Okay, I'll say add work notes to incident. Okay, I'll click on advanced. Okay, now I'll do after business rule. Okay, but after update. Okay, so we'll not add condition because we don't have any condition for this. So if you want to add a script condition, then we can add it here. Okay, this is the condition from the filter condition builder, but if you want to add some script condition, then we can add it here. Okay. Like I'll add, for example, gs dot is user logged in. Okay, we have seen that already, right? So we can add this. So this will return true or false, right? If it is true, then only we'll allow this business rule to trigger, otherwise it will not trigger. Okay, I'll say grinc equal to new glide record, and here incident, because we want to add data to incident. Okay, okay, now I'll say g. Now we have to get only one record. Again, that's what we'll do. We'll use get function, grinc dot get, and here we'll dynamically fetch the sysid of the incident, that is current dot sys underscore, not sysid, current dot incident. Okay, and as this is reference field, we don't need to write sysid like this. Okay, sys underscore id current dot incident dot sysid, we don't need to like do like this. If you want any other field, for example, if you want short description field, then we would have written like this, short description. Okay, because this is a reference field, so we can dot walk, but current dot incident dot short description, this is allowed, but current dot incident dot sysid is not required, because current dot incident itself will give you the sysid. Okay, so we'll do this, and then now we have the access to incident record, right? So we'll write grinc dot work notes. Now we need to add it to the work notes, right? So work notes, then what work notes we need to add? Current dot work notes dot get journal entry, and then we'll add -1. This will give us the last work notes added. Okay, so this will add it to the grinc, and then we'll say grinc dot update. Okay, so let's save this and try out. Okay, now let me go to the incident tasks table. I'll open this associated incident in a new tab. Okay, so we have the work notes here. The added work notes will be visible here in the activities tab. Okay, so let me open this first one. Okay, I'll add here testing. Okay, and I'll simply post. Okay, now let's go here and refresh this. Okay, we are not able to see that. Is there any issue? Okay, might be this is gs dot is user logged in. So let me just check the name of the function, is logged in. Okay, it is just is logged in, not is user logged in. So I'll just add is logged in, and I'll save this now. So I need to remove this one. Okay, now let me just refresh this. Now let me add test 1 2 3, and that is here. And if I go to the incident record, so I can see here. Okay, now I'm able to see both the records. Okay, so it's because we have added -1, so it will fetch me uh, all the work notes we have added there. So what we'll do, we'll add one there. Okay, so that will bring the latest one. Okay, let me refresh this now. Okay, I'll add test 333, and I'll add post. Okay, now let's go here and see. Now you can see that is added as separate. Okay, okay, now we can see one more record here where incident is not available. If we add something, some work note here in this incident, then we can show the error message that related incident is not available. Okay, so for that we'll just go to the incident business rule again, and we'll check here if. So we have a function in glide system called nil, gs.nil, and we'll say current dot incident. Okay, so if current dot incident is present, then go ahead and update the work notes in the incident. Okay, else if it is not present, then what you have to do is you have to add an error message. There's a function again in glide system, that is gs.add error message. Okay, related incident is not or whatever error message we want. Okay, now I'll go here and I'll open the second one where the incident is not available. Okay, I'll write some work note here and post. Okay, I did not get the error message here. Let me check once again. Let me go to the business rule and check, is there anything wrong? gs.net. Okay, sorry, it should be not nil. If it is not nil, if there is a incident present, then it should update. Otherwise, it should show the error message, right? Okay, let's refresh this now. I'll add something now and I'll post. Still, it's not working. Okay, I got the issue. We were not saving the record. That's why. So I'll do testing now. Then we can post or not post. Then if we save it, then we get the error here. Okay, related incident is not found. Okay, so if I just write something and directly try to update this, okay, then we get this error here. Okay, and here we can add one more. I don't want, for example, if I go here, okay, and let me just refresh this. Yeah, so if I change this short description, then also that business rule gets triggered. Okay, I don't want that to be triggered when every field is changed. I just want it to be triggered when the work notes is changed. So maybe we can add that here. Okay, work note changes. Okay, when the work note changes, then only trigger that business rule. Okay, now the third use case is when we delete the incidents, that time we need to delete all the associated incident tasks here. Okay, now for this incident, we have two incident tasks here. So we need to delete them. So to delete them, we have to have a business rule on incidents table. Okay, so we have this business rule added here. Okay, this is a delete business rule, and when to run, if we see, then we have added it before delete. Okay, just to demo this before as well. So for this we have added it, this one, current dot is about action, is action aborted. Okay, so if the action is aborted, for example, in this case the delete is the action, right? If it is aborted, then we don't want this to be triggered. Okay, if the incident is not deleted, if it is aborted by somehow, then we don't want the incident task to be deleted. Okay, that's why we have added this condition. Okay, and we have this code here, which will be like querying the incident task and then adding the query incident is the current incident which is getting deleted, and then delete all the records here. Okay, but before we do this, we need to check before deleting, because if we do some mistake here in this query, then might be it will delete all the incident tasks, right? So we have to be sure here. So for that, what we'll do is we'll just copy the sysid of this, and we'll go to background script. We'll query the uh, incident task table with same query, and we'll add this get row count, and we'll make sure whether those are two records or not. Okay, I think it's 001, and let me just check. Yeah, it is 001. Let me refresh. 1001, but this is okay. It is different actually. So let me just open this record, and let me copy the sysid here, and then I'll put the sysid here. Okay, yeah, now I'm sure that these are two records, so I can go and write the script. Okay, so before writing the script, one time we need to take care. Okay, otherwise we can, if there is any condition, then we can delete it like this as well. So we'll do grinc task dot query. Okay, and then in while loop we'll say grinc task dot next, and we'll go through each record, and if there is any condition, then we'll match the condition. For example, we don't have any condition, but I'm simply writing it, then we'll delete it. Okay, grinc task dot, then we'll delete a single record. Okay, so this is also a possible, like out of those two, only one condition, one record matches the condition, then we'll delete that, other one will not delete. But we don't have anything like that for now. That's why we'll remove that and we'll use this. Okay, so let me save this. Okay, now let me just refresh this incident record. Okay, now I'll click on delete. Now let's go to incident tasks table. Now I can see those two records are deleted. Okay, so in this way we can use business rules. One business rule left, that is a display business rule. We'll discuss that with client scripts. Okay, now use case number 4 is restrict the incident records using the business rule, that is the query business rule. So we'll write a business rule on incidents table. So let me just add a business rule here, and this business rule runs whenever we query the table. For example, if I refresh this page, it's like I'm querying the table in the UI. So that time also it gets applied, and if I am querying through the script, then also it gets applied. So let's check that both. Okay, now I'll write restrict access. Okay, and I'll add advanced, and then this should be always before. Okay, before query business rule. Okay, now I'll add the query here, and the query should be added like this is current, right? Current record dot add query, like how we add in the glide record query, right? Same way we need to add here. Now what I'll add is the caller should be able to turn. Okay, so I'll just copy this query and I will add it here. Okay, now as it is reference field, it is showing sysid. By the way, showing adding the hard coded sysid in the script is not best practice actually, uh, but for our reference I have added this. I'll change that in some time. Okay, now I will remove this all. But see, even though I removed that filter, now I can see only one record here. It's because of that query business rule. Okay, now we can do the same thing with ACL as well, but let me just do this first here. So what we can do here is just for our reference. So if you want to remove the name, then I'd have done it like this. Okay, able dot Twitter. I think it's able space Twitter. Okay, so this is how we can dot walk. Caller ID is referencing to the user table, and we are using the name field of the user table to add the query. This can be anything actually. Okay, now let me just refresh. Again we have same result here. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll show only let me just make it deactivated, save it. We'll show only those incidents where the logged in person is the caller. Okay, now I'll refresh this. Now we'll start seeing all of them again. Okay, let me just group by caller. Let's see if I have any with system administrator. Okay, for system administrator we have one. So when I add that condition, then I should see only one record because I'm the system administrator. So what I'll do is this, and we'll use that glide system function gs dot get user id. Okay, so now this gives the logged in users sysid, and we need in the caller id we store the sysid, right, of the user. Now we are querying if the logged in user is caller, then only show that record, otherwise not. Okay, now let me just refresh this now. Okay, oh, this is active false, that's why. Let me just save it again. Let's refresh it now. Okay, now I'll just ungroup this. Okay, now I can see the one which is where caller is system administrator. Now I'll just impersonate. To impersonate, I'll use SN utils again. I'll just write imp and then able. Okay, then it will show me here the name where the name contains able. Okay, so I'll just click on able tutor. Now when I click on able tutor, we can see I'm seeing the record of the able tutor. Okay, now let me just add caller id here. Okay, caller is able. Okay, now okay, I'll add David Miller here now. Okay, now we can see multiple records here because for David Miller we had many records. Okay, now let me query the incident table in background script and let's see. Okay, now we can see only one record. I have not added any condition here, but then also I can see only one record. It's because of that query business rule. Now query business rule is used to restrict the access. Now we can add the condition here as well. For example, if condition, then I'll add this filter. Okay, so if we have any conditions, then we can do it like that as well. Uh, if it is not matching, then we'll add the other condition, so we can add it like that as well. Okay, So currently we had no conditions, so we had only one here, so we have added like this. Okay, now the same thing also we can do with ACL. So let's just check that out. So I'll just deactivate this business rule. Okay, now if I refresh this page, I'll be able to see all the records again. Okay, now to create the ACL we must have the security admin rule, right? So we need to elevate rule, right? I'll just do elevate. Okay, now I am the security admin, so I'll go to ACL's access control. So I'll open and I'll create a new one on incident table. Okay, so we'll add the operation as read because we want to restrict read access, and we'll remove this admin overrides. If admin overrides is checked, then admin will be able to see no matter what condition is there. So we'll uncheck that and we'll add incident table here, and we don't want to write it on any to the field level, so we'll do it as none. Okay, then let me just go here down and I'll just add one condition here. Okay, for example we added color, right? So here we can add that, sorry, not here, here we need to add the condition, right? So color is dynamic, so we can do it like this: color is dynamic. So this is called dynamic filter. Call is dynamic me. So me is nothing but in from backend it is fetching gs.getUserID itself. Okay. So let me just save this, continue, and let me refresh the list. Okay, I think there must be other ACLs which are giving the access. So let me just go to ACLs again. Okay, I'll search for incident. Okay, for we have this much, so I'll deactivate all of them, and let me just check the latest one. So we'll leave that. Okay, and we'll deactivate the others. Oh, sorry, so we have to do it like this. So we'll select one cell and then shift and down arrow key, and then we'll just deactivate them. Okay, now let's go back, and okay, now I am security admin. So okay, now we can see that ACL is applied. Okay, and I'm able to see only that record. Okay, now in ACL also we can write the script. So I'll just remove this. To write the script, we need to click on advanced. Then the edit script editor will be open. Now we'll just do answer is equal to here answer should be true or false. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll add current current record dot caller underscore id is equal to gs dot get user id. Okay, so same thing we have added like this. So answer should be either true or false, and this statement will return true if the logged in user is same as caller id caller, otherwise not, right? So I'll just save it again. Okay, now let me just refresh this. So still we can see only one record, and if I impersonate with David, okay, then I'll see many records here for David. Okay, so same thing we can do with ACL as well, and in ACL also we can write the server side scripting. Okay, now let's discuss script includes. For that, I can go to all and then type here script includes, and I can open the script includes from here. Okay, and I can do that with SNUtils as well. That is slash si, and control click will open the script includes in new tab. Okay, to learn about SNUtils, I have a dedicated video there in my channel, so you can go and watch that as well. Okay. Now, so we have three types of script includes. Okay, now let me just click on new. I'll show you by creating itself. Okay, the first type is called classless script include, where the script include name and the function inside it, the name of the function is same actually. Okay, and we can create only one function inside the script include. Okay, so let me just do here. I'll say, for example, incident util. Okay, so this is the function name. Now we have this is the script include with the classes, right? So this is second type of script include. So if you want to create the first type, that is classless, then we need to remove all this. Now we need to create a function with the same name of script include. Okay, so I'll do here function and then this. Okay, now this is the classless one. Okay, so I'll just save this. Okay. Now we can call the script include from any server side script. Okay. And here we have given accessible from is this application scope only, so it will be accessible only in this scope. If you want it to be applicable sorry accessible in other applications as well, we can select this. Okay, now I'll just simply write here gs.info and classless esi. Okay, so let me just save this. And as we can call this from any server side script, I'll just try this to call from uh, the background script. Okay, for that I'll use slash. Okay, now I'll add that here. Okay, and I'll simply call that. Okay, now we can see the message here, the info message. Okay, now I can pass the parameter also here. For example, I'll pass service now universe, and I'll just take the parameter here. Okay, and I'll add that param here. And okay, now I'll just run this. Now we have got service no universe, which we passed it from here. Okay, now here only I can create one function. I cannot create one more function here in this, right? So this is the limitation here. As in script include, we can write any server side script, right? So we cannot use only for info purpose. So we can write the glide record here, or we can glide aggregate anything basically. Okay, any server side script which we tried already in the business rules in the background script. Okay, so this is classless script include. Now if I want to create the script include with the classes, then let's do that. Okay, I'll just add -1 in the sysid. That will give me the new script include form. Okay, I'll say incident util. I cannot create one more script include with the same name, so I'll just say incident util 1. Okay, now we can see it has given us already the with classes. We have the initialize function here, and we can create our own functions here. Okay, for example, I'll say get incident details. Okay, for example, then function. Okay, so we need to create the function like this. First the function name, then colon, and then the function. Okay, and at the end of the function we need to give comma. Okay, so this is the syntax. We can see it here, right? And we can give the parameters here. Okay, so I'll give the parameter as number, for example. Okay, and let me just create uh, code here, grinc new glide record, and then we'll query incident table. Okay, then we'll say grinc dot add query. Okay, we'll add the query. What is that? We have number there in the parameter, so we'll use that, and we'll pass the number. So we'll create the encoded query here. Okay, and then we'll say grinc dot query. Okay, then if, because number with the number we'll get only one uh, incident, right? And we can use this with the get function as well. For example, let me, because we are querying only one incident, right? So we can use get function here as well, like grinc dot get. Okay, we have already seen get function with the sysid, right? So if there is sysid, then we can pass the sysid directly in the get function, only one parameter. But as we have number, so we need to pass number field and then comma the value of it. Okay, so this way we'll query only one record of the incident. Okay, so this will save 2 lines here, right? Now I'll return. Okay, return, what will return the number. Number is there already with us, so I'll just say that, and then I'll say short description. Short description is grinc dot short description. Okay, and if we don't find that incident, then we'll return some message, return incident. Okay, we need to return the message, right? So I'll say incident with number, and what is the number that is in the parameter bar, and then we'll say is not found. Okay, Okay, so now what we'll do, we'll go to the background script again. Now we can trigger this script include as well from any server side script, right? But here we cannot call it directly like how we did it in classless script include. We have to initialize this. Okay, now this is incident util, right? So the way to create the object is incident util. Okay, you can have any other variable as well, but we can create it like this in camel case. Okay, then we need to initialize it to new, like how we do in glide record. Then we'll do it like this. Okay, and then we need to call the function, right? Incident util, and then dot. Okay, and this function. Okay, and we need to pass the parameter here, right? So that's why we need the incident. So like, okay, we have only one incident here because we applied ACL already to this. So let me pass the incident number here. Okay, and we need to print this, right? So I'll pass this function gs dot. I'll run the script. Okay, now we can see the number is this and short description is ATF test one. So we can see short description is ATF test one. Now I'll just simply add something here. Okay, something here, and then I'll try to print this. Okay, and that number is not available, right? So we got the error message incident with number, this is not found. Okay, so this way we can call the functions. Okay, now we can have something in the initialize as well. Okay, for example, in the initialization we'll get the number basically. Okay, we'll not get the number in the function, we'll get it in initialization. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to write here this dot number is equal to number. Okay, so while we are initializing the script include, that time only we are passing the number. Okay, now we should pass something here which should be common to all the functions. Okay, like if I have 10 functions here, then it should be common to all the functions, that thing will pass here. Okay, will not pass the number that is only specific to this function, but just for our understanding purpose I'm passing this here. Okay, now we have the number here, so we are passing the number here, so I'm removing from here. Now as this is this dot number, now this can be accessible anywhere in the script include with this dot number. So okay, I'll just change this to this dot number. Okay, and here as well this dot number. Let me just say, okay, let me go back and I'll just remove the parameter from here now, and I'll pass it while we are initializing the script include. Okay, so let's pass it here. Now I'll run the script. Okay. Now we see we have got the same error here. Okay, now let me just remove that and run it again. Now we have got the result here with the short description. Okay, now we'll discuss the third type of script include. Let me just add -1 in the sysid. Okay, the third type is called as client callable script include. So that is we'll name that as incident as util, for example. Okay. Okay. Now we just need to check this client callable tick mark. So you can observe here that will change. Okay. Now it is extending this script include, that is abstract as X processor. Okay. Now this script include can be called from client side. Okay, using GlideAjax. So we'll see this when we'll deal with the client scripts. Okay. Now this is who can access this script include. So I'll say admin can access this script include. Okay, let's come back here with the use cases of client scripts. Okay, now let's discuss schedule jobs with use case and using the script include. Okay, now the use case is delete all the incident tasks where the incident is inactive. Okay, if the incident is inactive, then we'll delete all the incident tasks related to that. Okay, now we can copy the incident number from here and go to incidents table and check whether that is active or not. Just check it manually, not in the script. We'll do it in a script in some time. But to check it here, we can add the configure list layout. I explained that already in my administration video, so you can watch that. So we have to go to configure list layout, and here we need to select incident. Okay, incident is a reference field, right? So I'll select that, so you can see plus icon here. It indicates that this is the reference field. Then we can click on this icon. Okay, now it shows me you see the incident fields. Okay, so I'll select the active field from incident. So now it's like we are dot working here in the UI. Okay, now I'll just click on save. Okay, now we can see this 5 is active false, this 601 is active false, 014 is active false, but 001 is active true. Okay, so we have to delete the first 4 incident tasks but not the last one, right? So let's create a schedule job for that, and using the script include, let's call the script include in the schedule job. Okay, so let me go to the script schedule jobs table. Okay, let me open this. Okay, I'll take it here. Okay, let me create a new one. I will go with automatically run script of your choosing. Okay, so we'll create that, and we'll add delete all incident tasks of inactive incident to incidents. Okay, now as this is server side, so we can write it directly here, right? We can write the server side script directly here. Okay, here I'll do daily. Okay, so we can have it up weekly. So if you want to run this weekly, then we can run it weekly. If we do that weekly, then it asks which day of the week and what is the time we want to run. Okay, so we can keep it monthly periodically. So it will run. For example, if I do periodically, then it asks what is the frequency. For example, if I add one, then it runs in each 1 hour. Okay, so I don't want that. On demand, so we can run it on demand. So we can come and we get a execute now button here, so we can click on that, so we can run it on demand. Once it will run only once. Okay, and now we'll keep that daily. Okay, so now it is asking daily at what time we want to trigger it. So I'll say daily at midnight, for example. Okay. Okay, now we can have the condition as well here. Okay, the script condition. Okay, I want to trigger the schedule job only when that condition met. Okay, now let me add some condition in the script system properties. So for that, I'll open the properties table, that is sys underscore properties. I'll create a property here. Okay, I'll add trigger scheduled job. Okay, now I'll make that boolean, that is true or false, and value will be true. Okay, so if this value is false, then it will not trigger. If this is true, then only it will trigger. Let's make it false first initially. Now let me just save this. Okay, now to add the condition, we need to get the value from this system property, right? For that, we have a function in the glide system, that is gs.get property. So what I can do is gs.get property. Okay, and then I can add the property name here. Now this will return either true or false based on what is the value stored in there, and it returns in a string format. That's why we will add it like this, equal to true. Okay, now if this is equal to true, then only trigger the script here, otherwise not. Okay, now we have the value as false, so whatever we write here, that will not be triggered. Okay, now let's save this. Now, the code to delete the incident task, that we will write in the script include, the one which we created earlier, incident util one. So we have already one function. So we'll create one more function that will say delete incident tasks. Okay. So I'll say function. Okay. I don't want to pass any parameter to it. So I'll leave it as is. Variable grinc task equal to new glide record. We'll do glide record on incident task. Okay, now I'll say grinc task dot add query. Now we want to delete the incident tasks where incident is inactive, right? So for that, we can dot work here in the encoded query as well. Like I'll say incident. Okay, now this is the field, right? So if I go to incident tasks, now this is the incident field. Let me just slash tn, so we can see this is incident field, and this is dot worked field, that is incident dot active. The same can be used here in the script as well. I'll do incident dot active. Okay, now what we want is equal to false. Okay, if it is false, then only we'll delete, otherwise we'll not delete. Okay, Now I'll say grinc task dot directly delete multiple. So we have discussed already the delete multiple, right? So I'll do this. Okay. Now I'll save this. Okay. Now let me just copy this script include name and go to the schedule job, and I'll initiate the script include first. That is incident util is equal to new the script include name, and then incident util dot the function name, right? So let me copy the function name from here. Okay, I'll do this, and we don't need to pass any parameter, right? So because we are querying it in the script include itself. Okay, now as the property is false, this code will not trigger. Okay, now this code will run at midnight, but we don't want to we want to test it, right? So we can click on execute now button to test it. Okay, otherwise this will run at midnight as well. Now let me just click on execute now. Okay, let me go back. Okay, now let me refresh the incident tasks. So we can see it is not deleted, no action is performed here. Okay, because we have added the condition, right? So let me just change it to true now. Okay, I'll save this. Okay, now let me go back to schedule job and run the schedule job again. Let's go back to incident tasks. Now we can see those incident tasks where incident is inactive, those were removed, and only active incident tasks were kept here. Okay, so this is how we can use schedule job and the script include. Okay, now let's discuss the script actions and notification email scripts. Okay, now for script actions, we'll again do the same thing. We'll delete all the incident tasks where the incident is inactive. Okay, now we did it through the schedule job, right? Now same thing we'll do from script action. Okay, now let me just go back here. To trigger the script from the action, we need to create the event. Okay, so let me just go and create the event first. Okay, in system policy under events we have registry, so we'll go there and we'll create our own custom event. Okay, so we need to fire this event, so we'll fire that event through some background script, so I'll show you that as well. So we need to fire this event that will trigger the script. Okay, let me just add some service now universe event. Okay, I'll just save this. I don't want anything else, so I'll just save this. Okay, now I will go to script action. So now the script action is I'd want it uh, I want the condition to trigger the script action. For example, if some condition met, then I want to trigger that, right? So I don't want to trigger it using the schedule job, that is daily, weekly, or periodic. Okay, a fixed amount of time, but I want to trigger it anytime. Okay, anytime when the condition matches, right? So that time we can use the script action. So I'll just simply say new. Okay, now we can give the name here, delete incident tasks. Okay, now here we can select the event which we have created there. Okay, I'll select that ServiceNow universe event. Okay, now I'll just say this as active and I'll save this. Okay, now again we can write the condition script here. The same condition script will copy. If the property is true, then only trigger it, otherwise not. Okay, so I'll just add that condition here, and I'll copy the code from the schedule job itself. The same script will call again. Okay, let me just go back here and add. So this is also a server side script, so we can write any server side script here. Okay, so let me just save this. Okay, now to trigger this we have to run the let me just copy the event name first. Okay, now I will do that from background script. Okay, okay, to trigger the event we have a function in glide system again, that is called gs.event queue. That is gs.event queue, that takes first parameter as the event name. Okay. Now it takes a second parameter as the GlideRecord object, third as event param1, and fourth as event param2. So if we want some parameters in here, for example, I'll pass the second one as null, so I don't want anything, and third one as I'll pass test. Okay, and fourth one as test2. Okay, So now in the script, okay, in the script action, so I'll just go here. We'll not be using that in our script, but we'll just print that. Okay, gs dot info, and we'll say event, okay, dot param one. The third parameter which we passed is event param one, and the fourth parameter is gs dot info event dot param 2. Okay, now let's do that log and add some source as well here. Log, and I'll add source ServiceNow universe. Okay, now let's save this. Okay, I'll open the logs table as well. That is this log, control enter. That will open in a new tab. Okay, okay, now let's trigger the let's fire the event. Okay, now I'll just fire the event. Okay, event is fired. So first we'll see whether the incident tasks are deleted or not. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, now the tasks are deleted here. Okay, now let me check whether the logs are added or not. Okay, logs are added as undefined. Let me check, did we make any? It's like this. Let me just check it, but our script is executed correctly. Okay, that is triggered. Yeah, now we can see test and test2 here, and the source as su. Okay, so it is like this: event.param1, event.param2. Okay, now if you want to pass any parameter like dynamic parameters based on any condition, then we can pass it in this parameter, the third parameter and the fourth parameter, that is read in the script action as event param1, event param2. Okay, now the same will happen in the notification email script as well, and we have to pass the second parameter as well in the notification email script. Okay, so now we'll discuss that. Okay, now let's remove all these. I don't want them now. Okay, now before we go to notification email script, we need to create a notification first. Okay, and we'll trigger that notification using that event itself. Okay, so and then we'll add the script there. Okay, then first we'll go and create a notification. Okay, the notification. Okay, I'll say new. This notification is nothing but the email we want to send, right? So I'll say incident details. Okay, so for example, when the critical incident is created, we want to send the detail of it. Okay, to the manager, caller's manager, for example. Okay, incident details. Okay, then I'll add the table. Okay, we need to send when the incident is created, right? So table will add as incident. Okay, we'll select incident. Okay, and then okay, when to send, when the record is inserted or updated. For example, when the critical incident is created, that time also we can send this, but we'll send this when the event is fired. Okay, and which event is fired? We'll send it when ServiceNow universe event is fired. Okay, and we can add the condition. So when we need to send this, when the priority is critical, right? So we'll send it only when priority is critical. Okay, okay, now let me add who will receive this. Okay, so who will receive this? Will We are saying the caller's manager will receive this, right? So here we'll go in the user or group in field. So I'll add select caller, and I'll click on plus and the caller's manager. Okay, let me select manager here. Okay, the caller's manager will uh, get the email. So then I'll go to who will, what it will contain. So I'll say your group member has raised critical incident. Okay, now we can write some message here like hello and anything. Okay, and regards, and we can add the same thing here. Then we'll use the notification email script in some time, but let's check whether the whether we can fire this event, sorry, this notification with that event. Okay, let's check that. Okay, for that we need the critical incident, right? So or else what we can do is we can have a business rule on incident table. So let me add a business rule on incident table. Okay, let's see. I'll duplicate this and I'll add business. Okay, and in the notification we can add, uh, for example, here short description and number. For example, if you want number, then I can add here and we can select the variables. uh, okay, that is the number, right? A variable is nothing but the field, so we can go and select the number. Okay, now that number is dynamically added here. Okay, so whichever uh, so whoever create the critical one incident, that number, that incident number is added here. Okay, now if you want to add short description, short test, okay, then that can also be added here. Oh sorry, yeah, I think we get the short description already there. Okay, okay, now I'll just save this. Now we will fire the this event through business rule. Okay, now what I'm saying, I'll say fire notification. Okay, so I'll say when after insert or update. Okay, insert or update, when I'll say priority is critical. Okay, so I can say that from here as well, or else it is already present in the notification as well. If the priority one incident is not created, if some other incident is created and in business rule we miss to add that condition, then it comes here and checks this. Okay, it is priority one or not. If it is not, then it will not fire the event notification. Okay, so we'll do this, and in advanced we'll just go and do gs dot event queue. Okay, and first parameter is that service now universe event, and second parameter should be glide record object, right? So here glide record object is current, right? Current is the glide record object. Okay, and we can pass the third and fourth parameter as well, but we don't want that, so we'll leave it. Those are optional. Okay, now I'll just save this. Okay, now to check where the notification, whether the notification is fired or not, we can go to the emails table. I'll just type in emails, and this is the table where the fired event is visible. So it is created on today and sorted by Z2A. Okay, so let me just go and create a new incident here. Okay, let's select able tutor as caller, and let's see if manager is present or not, because we need to send the mail to manager, right? So let me open the record. Okay, who is the manager? Let me just check in show XML. Okay, there is no manager here, so let's add manager, or else find any user with the manager. So I'll go to users table and just add manager in the list view. Okay, I'll filter out this. Okay, so now we have a manager here for this user. So let me just copy that user. Okay, I'll create the incident. Okay, and I'll add some test priority one incident. Okay, now I'll save this. Okay, yeah, we need to make it priority one, right? So I'll just add the impact as high and urgency also high, then it is priority one. Now I'll save this. Okay, now I'll check the emails. Okay, now we have one email here. We can see your group member has raised critical incident. Okay, now I'll just preview that email. Okay, now we can see the number is also there and the short description is also there. Okay, now we can add the script to this notification, that is called notification email script. Okay, now how to do that? Let me just go to email scripts here. Okay, notification email scripts. Okay, let me just open it I'll remove this one. Okay, let me create a new one. We can give it any name. Okay, so I'll say incident underscore details or something. Okay, now here we have access to current. Okay, it means the current which is available in the business rule. For example, if I'm creating this new incident, so this is the current object, right? So that current is available here. Okay, and we have template here, right? So we can use the template dot print function, template dot print, and then we can print whatever we want here. For example, we'll print uh, the impact and urgency, for example. Okay, so I'll say impact and plus, I'll say current dot impact. Let me check whether the technical name is impact or not, slash tn. So it is impact and urgency both are high. Yeah. Impact dot, I'll do get display value. Okay, so same way I can add the urgency as well. Okay, let me just save this for now. Okay, might be there is one more notification email script with the same name. So let's add underscore one to this. Let me check whether that is created or not. Okay, that is not created. Let me just create one more underscore one. Okay, I'll simply do current dot impact dot get display value. Okay, and then template dot print current dot urgency dot get display value. Okay, this is just for our example because this impact and urgency can be available here as well, right? In this, in the fields. But if you want to bring for example, if you want to query the incident task, for example, for this incident how many incident tasks are available, so if you want to query that, then we can do the glide record here, because this is also server script is allowed here. So we can query that and we can bring that and we can add that to the uh, notification. That's why it is available. But for our demo purpose, for now we'll just add this. Okay, now we need to add this, right, to the notification. So I'll just go here in the notification. So what we have to do is wherever we want to make this visible, so there will add dollar and then curly brace, and we'll write mail underscore script and then colon and then the name of that incident underscore details underscore one. Okay, so this is how we can add the notification email script here. Okay, now let me just save this. And there is one more thing, we can use this email object to add cc as well. Like for example, I'll say email dot add address. Okay, and then I'll add cc. Then we need to add the email here. Okay, so we can copy the email from, for example, current dot, I'll add assigned to email, for example. Okay, assigned underscore to dot email. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, now let's create a new incident again. Okay, we'll select the same color. Okay, and we'll add some message here, test 2, and then we'll select the assigned to user, right? So for that we need to select assignment group first. So I'll select, okay, network, for example, and let me check if there is any user here. Okay, yeah, we have. So we'll add that user here. Okay, now this user should be added in cc, right? So let me just save this. Okay, now the new incident is created. The event should be fired through the business rule, and we should get a new email here. Okay, it's not available here yet. Let me check if we done any mistakes, so we can open the logs table to see if there is any issue. Okay, we don't find any issue there, so what's wrong? Template.print get display value current dot assigned to dot email. That is correct. Okay, it's because we have not created the priority one incident here, that's why. So let me create a new one. Okay, I'll select the caller, I'll add something here. Okay, I'll select the assignment group, I'll select the assign to user, and I'll make the impact as high and urgency as high. The priority is one now. Okay, I'll save this. Now we should expect one email here. Okay, now let me just refresh. Okay, refresh again. Okay, now we have that email here. Now if I preview that email, okay, now we can see we have uh, the earlier message as well with high and high. So it this is the impact and this is urgency. So we have not added anything here, that's why. But we can add in this, for example, I'll add, for example, here slash n. Okay, slash in, and we can add the html as well here in the template. For example, I want to make it bold, so I'll add bold uh, in quotes, okay, plus, and here I'll close that. Okay, slash b. Okay, so I can add the html also here. Okay, now let's go and create one more, and in this let me just check whether the cc is added or not. Okay, we have the field here called copied. In that we can see the cc added here for that email. Okay, so this is how we can add cc, or we can use notification email script to query other tables and get the data from the other tables and show it in the email notifications. And we can use the html as well. We can create the table and add that to template.print, so that will the table in the email. Okay, now let's discuss inbound email actions, the other way around to notification email scripts. The notification email scripts we write when we want to send the mail from the ServiceNow instance. Now, the inbound actions are reversed when we get the email to the ServiceNow instance. Then we need to process something. So for that, we have inbound actions. Okay, now I can just write here inbound actions. Okay, I cannot demo that in my PDI, but I'll just show that where to write the script. Okay, so I'll just create a new one. Okay, we'll give it some name here, for example, test action. Okay, now here we have action type. Okay, one is record action, one is reply mail. So you can check this when I say reply email. So whenever we get the email to the ServiceNow instance, we need to reply back. Okay, so if we want to reply back, then we can again add some message here. Okay, for example, this is reply email. Okay, now this message goes back to the sender again. Okay, we get the email to the ServiceNow instance, and then we send back automatically. We don't need to respond, right? So it will go automatically. Now if you want to record the action, for example, if I get one email, then I want to create an incident, for example, or I want to update an incident, then I'll just do record action. Okay, then I'll select the table here, incident. Okay, now this stop processing, what it will do is, for example, in when to run, we can add certain condition here. Okay, and we have the type and all, and from which user we need to receive, from which emails we need to receive. That is also we can mention here. So if all those conditions are matching for, I think, 2 to 3 or more than one email action, then when this email action gets processed, then stop processing the other email actions. Okay, if you want to process all the email actions, then we can just keep it unchecked. If you don't want the other email actions to be processed, then we'll check this. Okay, so if I check this, then other email actions will not be processed for the incident for this condition. Okay, Now, in the type, we are saying whether that is a new email or not. Okay, if it is a new email, then what we have to do? If it is a reply email, okay, for example, from ServiceNow, we have sent some email. To that email, the person has replied. Okay, then we'll keep this as type. Okay, type reply. Okay, and then if it is a forwarded email, then we'll have type as forward. Okay, now this is the execution order. If the same conditions are matching for the other email actions, then which one should run first, so we can have that here in the execution order. Okay, now we can add some conditions when to run. This is again based on the email. Okay, so for example, let me add subject here. Okay, okay, I'll say subject contains incident. Okay, so if the subject of the email which ServiceNow is receiving, it contains incident, then only process this. Otherwise, don't process it. Okay. Now I can do that in the condition here as well. Okay. Now email is the object. Email dot I'll do email dot subject dot contains. Okay. Dot contains incident. Okay. Now we can do it like this. Okay. We can do index of, okay, incident is greater than 0. Okay, so in this way, if subject contains incident, then only we'll proceed, something like that. Okay, is a reply email, then we should have some watermark. For example, ref, like let me just have this. Then this should start with ref. Okay, this should be starts with. Okay, so we are expecting the reply email starts with ref. Okay, and forwarded emails are starting with fw. Okay, and then once these conditions are matched, then we can go and write the script here. For example, if we want to set some fields beforehand itself, for example, I want to set the state. Okay, the state of the incident to new. Okay, for example, new. Okay, then I can keep this. If it is a reply type of email, then incident is already created, then I'll keep this as in progress. Okay, and yeah, so we can keep this here. And if you want to do some action here in this, then we can do that action. For example, we can keep a variable subject. Okay, and then I'll take the subject here, email dot subject. Okay, now based on subject, for example, if subject dot index of, if it contains on hold, for example, then what I'll do, I'll make the incident on hold, for example. Okay, so here the number might be, it's number 2 or 3, so we'll make the incident on hold. So this way we can do coding here, and we can get the email body like this, email body underscore text. So we'll get the body of the email in the text format. Okay, so this is how we can do in the scripting in inbound email actions. Okay, okay, now let's discuss UI actions. And before that, we'll check one glide date function, that is subtract function, that we'll use in visibility of the UI action to show or hide the UI action. So let's first see that in the background script, and then we'll go there. Okay, so I'll write variable gdt is equal to new glide date time. Okay, and I'll add some date here. Okay, for example, 000. Okay, now we'll give two dates here, and we want the difference between that date, and we'll use that in the UI action to hide or show the UI action. Okay, now, and I'll go. Okay, I'll add it here. Okay, now the function is for example, I'll add the duration here, a variable. Now the function is glide date time dot subtract. Okay, and we need to pass the first date here, like GDT, and then second, that is GDT2. Okay, and now let's print that. Okay. Print duration. Okay, and let's see. Okay, we get the duration like this. So let me just do get duration dot get, sorry, duration dot get display value. Okay, now let's see. Okay, it is giving me 0 okay, it is exactly different, so let me just make it 3. Okay, so now we can see the difference between these two is 1 day. Okay, but here the first parameter which we are passing, that should be the date before. For example, if I make this 4 or 5 for example, then this script will not work. Okay, so it shows error here. So this should be before. For example, I can keep it as 1, then it will give me 2 days here. Okay, now if there are any minutes or seconds here, for example, if I add here 1, and if I add here 2, then it will give me that as well, hours. Okay, it will be 2 days 1 hour, but we'll only consider days here. Okay, and if it is, for example, let me add a date which is a month ago, then it will give us the result in days only. Okay, not in months. Okay, so it will be 123 days. So we want to consider days only. So for that, what we'll do is, let me just split it. Okay, so now I'll copy this and I'll store it in duration again. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll split the duration. Okay, duration is equal to duration dot split by what? We will split by space. Okay, we'll split by space here, because we have space between days and 123. Okay, now I'll print duration of 0. Okay, when I split, I have 0 in zeroth index 123, and in first index days, and in second index 1, and in third index hour. Okay, this will become array. So now in duration of 0 I have 123 days. So let me just print that, that is 123 days. Okay, now we'll add this code in the script include, and we'll call that script in the script include in the UI action. Okay, so let me just open the script include. I'll use SN utils again. Yes, I dot. So our will write it in incident util 1. Okay, now I'll say create a new function, get date difference. Okay, then function, I'll pass date 1 and then date 2. Okay, and then I'll write the code here. Okay, and the code is this, where we have two parameters, date 1 and date 2, and in GDT1 and GDT2 we are passing those dates, and we're calculating the duration using subtract function, and we're getting the display value of it, and then we are splitting by space and getting the 0 index, that is days, and then we are returning it. Okay, now let's go to incidents and let's create a new UI action. Okay, let me just click on create new. Okay, I'll name that as close incident. Okay, so I'll make that as form button. It can be a form button, it can be a form link. Okay, or form context menu. Okay, for example, the context menu will be visible here. Okay, and the links will be visible here, and button will be visible here. Okay, so now we'll make it form button. Okay, we'll give it some action name. Okay, inc, and this is needed when we write client script in this UI action. Okay, now we don't want to show that on insert, we'll show that on update only. For example, update means, let me just open an record, existing record. Okay, it will show here. Okay, on the existing record. If it is a new record, then it will not show. Okay, that's why we need to mark that as show insert false. Okay, now I'll write the code here. I'll directly initialize the script include, that is this. I'll write the code in, well, in the condition. Okay, here we can write any server side script. Okay, now I have initialized the script include. Now earlier what we were doing is storing it in a variable, and that using that variable to call the function, right? So we can do it like this as well. New, then the function script include name, then dot, and then we'll call the function name. Okay, and our function expects two parameters, right? One is the created date, this date. Okay, so I'll just add that is this underscore created underscore on. Okay, so what I'll do here, we have access to current. Okay, that is the current record. Then sys created underscore on or to string. Okay, this is our first parameter. Second parameter should be today's date, right? So how we'll get the today's date? That is new glide date time. Okay, now this is today's date. This whole thing will give us what we are returning from the number of days, right? So what I'm saying is, if number of days is less than 365, okay, if the it means if the incident is created within 1 year, then we'll show it the close incident button, otherwise will not show it. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, let's close this for now. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, now we can see this is created in 4 minutes ago, and this was 4 hours ago, and this is 22 hours ago, and this is 6 years ago. Okay, now 6 years ago means we should not be able to see that button there, right? Because we have added the condition it should be created within 1 year, that is 365 days. But for 6 years it is more, right? So it will not be visible. But if I open this, now we can see that button is visible. Okay, so this is how we can add the visibility here. Okay, now if I want to write the server side script here, then I'll simply have access to current. Then I'll do current dot state is equal to and let me just go here, the state for closed. So I can use SNUtils again slash tn, that will give me the value of close, that is 7. Okay, so I will go in the UI action, I'll just add as 7, and I'll do current dot update. Okay, now after updating, when once we do current dot update, then it will redirect to some other page which is previously open. That's what we'll do. We want to stay on same page. Okay, same incident page. That's why we'll write this set redirect URL, redirect URL current. It means we want to stay on same incident after closing. Okay, here we can see that. So let me refresh that again. Okay, now once I click on close incident, then this should be closed. Okay, I'll just do that. Okay, we are getting the data policy exception. So let me just go to that data policy. Let me show you what is that data policy is. Data policies. Okay, I'll open this. Now, what this data policy is saying is when state is one of resolved or closed. Okay, so what we are doing is we are trying to set the state to closed, right? So then this data policy is getting triggered, and what it is saying, when state is one of resolved or closed, then close code and close node should be mandatory. Okay, here we have the close code and close nodes, but these two are not mandatory, right? That's why this is not closed. If I refresh this, okay, then it is still in new state. Okay, so if I do this again, that is not closed, but it is giving the exception here. So let me just add something here, the mandatory fields, and then I can click on close incident. Now the incident is closed. Okay, now the incident is closed, but still we are able to see close incident button here. So to remove that, we can add here one more condition, that is and then I'll say current dot state is not equal to 7. 7 is closed state, right? So I'll say when it is the state is not equal to 7, when the state is not closed, then show it, otherwise don't show it. Okay, and let me refresh this. Okay, yeah, now when we clicked on close incident, then we got that exception, right? That error, right? Okay, then we can set that using the client script first, and then we can proceed with closing the incident. So to do that, I'll just go to incident again. Okay, now we can write the client script here. So let me just open one more incident. Okay, this incident. Okay, now if I click on resolve button, okay, you can see these are getting mandatory first, and then after filling this, it will be resolved. And how these are getting mandatory, it's again by this data policy. Okay, but if I scroll up, then we can see the state is changed to resolved. Okay, if I refresh this, then it is again new, that is again in progress, the earlier state. It is not resolved yet, but it is changing the state, and that is triggering the data policy, and that is making these two fields mandatory. Now we can just do that in our example also, in our code UI action also. So let me just go to resolve UI action, and let me just copy this code. Now we are writing both client side and server side function in only one UI action. Okay, now this is resolve incident. So first of all, I need to mark this as client. Okay, so then we get this on click field here. So we have to add the function here. I'll say close inc. Okay, I'll remove this. I'll add close in and C. Okay, and then they are setting the state to 6 because that was resolved, right? But we are setting it to 7. We are closing it. That's why. Okay. So we'll set it to 7. Now G underscore user is a Glide user API that is available on client side, and this G underscore user dot user ID will give you the sys ID of the logged in user. Okay, like in server side we have gs dot get user ID. Same way we have in client side G underscore user dot user ID. Okay, now we have this GSFD submit function that will allow the code to run from client side to server side. Okay. Now we have this. This is the syntax we need to copy, and in this server resolve function, we can write the script here to server script actually to close the incident. Okay. I'll say this, and I'll say this, and I'll add that action dot set redirect URL here as well. Action dot set redirect URL, and then current. Okay. With this, we'll be on the same page, will not be redirected to any other page. Okay. Now we can see here we have resolve underscore incident. That was the action name of the resolve. But for our UI action, we have the action name as close underscore inc. So we'll add that here. Okay, close inc. And now what we'll do extra is when I click on close incident, with these two are getting mandatory from this data policy. We have closed as well, either resolved or either closed. Both time these two gets mandatory, but I'll make a description also mandatory. Okay, so for that I can add again a data policy or the UI policy, or I'll directly write it here. Okay. Now G underscore form is the glide form API that is available on client side. Okay, that have one function called set mandatory. Okay, I'll add description. Make the description mandatory when I click on close button, close incident button, and I'll make that as true. Okay. Now let me just save this. So now what we are doing is before closing the incident, we are getting the resolution code, resolution notes plus the description as well. Without that, we cannot close the incident. Okay, now I'll click on close incident. You can see description, and these two are mandatory by that policy, and this is mandatory by our script in the UI action. Okay, now we can see the state is closed. We need to fill this data, and then we can close the incident. Okay. Okay, now the data is filled. When I click close incident now, now it will go and execute this code. Okay, because the part on the client side is done. The part on the client side is to fill the mandatory fields. Now that is filled. So when I click on close incident now that will be closed. Okay, the data on the state description, resolution notes and all is sent to server, and now the incident is closed here. Okay, let's discuss fixed scripts now. Now what are fixed scripts? Fixed scripts are again the server side script that will run before or after the application is installed, or before or after the application is upgraded. Okay, now let me just type in fixed script here, and I'll open this. When the custom application is installed, for example, then might be if you want to set some data in the tables, the scope tables, then we can use this script. Okay, now we can give the name here. Okay, I cannot demo this for now, but I'll just show you. I can give some name. Unloadable means we can add it to the update sets. Okay, when it is false, it will not be added to the update set. When it is true, then that will be added to the current update set. Okay, Now before means if before is checked, then when the application is before the application is installed or upgraded, this fix script will run. If it is unchecked, then it will run after the installation or upgradation. Okay. Record to rollback. So if you want to revert these actions which are performed by this script, then we can check this. Otherwise, we can uncheck that. Okay. Now again, we can write here glide record. We can write the glide record. We can write glide aggregate, whatever code we want. We can write here. Okay. We can use the script include function as well here. So basically, we can script here. However, we can script here like how we do in other server side scripts. Okay. Okay, now let's discuss relationships. Okay, for example, I'll just open this incident. Okay, that is 1001. I want to see all the incident tasks which are associated with the incident here at the bottom. Okay, currently we are able to see that here. Now, if I go to configure related lists, then I can see we have this here incident task and then incident, because we have the reference field in the incident task, right? So this is the reference field in the incident task. It's because of that we are able to see this here. Okay, now let me just remove that, and we'll do this with the relationships. Okay, with the script. So let me remove that and this parent as well. I'll just save this. Okay, now we don't have that here, right? So let me just go back to navigation and I'll just type here relationships. Okay, under system definition we have relationships here. I'll just open it. Okay, now I'll do new. This is just for demo purpose. I am using incident and incident tasks because here we have reference field, so we can directly add the related list. But in some cases we don't have the relationship through reference field. There might be some other relationship, so that time we need these here. Okay, so I'll write here incident tasks from relationships. Okay. Okay, and I'll do applies to table. Okay, now which table this will be applying to? This will be applying to this incident table, right? So we want to show it on incident table, so I'll write incident. Okay, and which table we want to query from? So we are querying the records from this table, right? Incident task, so I'll add incident task. Okay, incident task. Now here we have two objects, current and parent. Parent will be the object from incident, and current will be object from the incident task. Okay, so if we see here, then this record will be parent, and the records which we'll add here is current. Okay, now let me go back here. I'll just query the incident table now. Okay, incident task table, GRINC, then task. Okay, new glide record incident underscore task. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll add the query like we added in query business tool. So same way we'll add the query here with the sysids. Okay, so for that what we'll do, I'll inc task sys ids. I'll create one array and I'll push the sysids of the tasks there. Okay, now I had to add the condition, right? Grinc dos uh, grinc task dot add query. Okay, now I need to add this condition, right? Incident is equal to this. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add incident is equal to. Okay, now we have this red parent as incident. Okay, now the parent we have, so I'll just do that is also a glide record object actually, parent dot sys underscore id dot toString. Okay, so it means on whichever instance we are there, it will give the sysid of that incident. Okay, in this parent dot sysid dot toString. Okay, then I'll just do query. Okay, then we'll do while grinc task dot next. If there are incidents present, then what we'll do, we'll push it to incident task sysids and push sysid dot toString. Okay, so we are pushing the sysid of all the incident tasks in this array. Okay, now here at the end we'll need to add the query current dot add query, like how we added in the query business rule, same way. Now as we have sys IDs here, right, in this, so we can add sys underscore id. So let me just go back here. I'll just copy the sys id. So if you want to build the query, so we can build it from here. Like what we are saying is sys id is one of, there is an operator called one of this, and we can add multiple here, like comma separated. Okay, so that will give me this, right? So I'll just copy. Here we have added only one sysid, but we can add multiple sysids as well. So I'll just copy that here. Now the operator backend name is in. Okay, so sysid in, and then plus what I'll do, inc task sysids. Okay, so I can make dot to string to make them comma separated, or I can leave them as is. That will also ServiceNow will consider that array as comma separated string itself. Okay, so now we have created the relationship. Now we need to add that to the related list here. Okay. Now I'll go to incident record again. I'll go to configure related lists. Okay, I need to find that here. Incident. Yeah, here it is. Incident tasks from relationship. So I'll add that. I'll save this. Okay, if I scroll down, then I can see two incident tasks here. Okay, so this is how we can use relationship. If I go to any other relationship, we'll not get anything there. Incident. Okay, let me open this one. Okay, we don't have any incident tasks here because we have only two incident tasks that is only for this incident. Okay, now let's discuss the workflow run script activity. Here we'll discuss one use case that is like when the priority 2 incident is created, then we want to create the incident task, but that we will create through workflow, not through business rule. We have one business rule already that will create the incident task when the priority 1 is created, right? So now we'll do that with the workflow for priority 2 incidents. Okay, now let me just go here and I'll open workflow editor. Okay, workflow editor. Okay, I'll just open this. So we'll not check the whole activities in the workflow, but only the run script activity. Okay, so I'll create the new workflow. This is create incident task. Okay, and on which table will run this? This will be on incident table. Incident table. Okay, that, and we don't. Okay, we have one condition, that is when the priority uh, is too high. Okay, so I'll just submit this. Okay, we have the canvas ready. So what I'll do is I'll just go here to core activities are present here. So I'll just copy the run script activity. Okay, I'll just take, okay, I'll say create incident tasks. Okay, same like uh, in business rule, we can write again the same code here. GRINC task is equal to new glide record, and then we'll do incident underscore task grinc task dot initialize. Okay, then grinc task dot. Okay, so we'll keep the short description same as this description, same as the short description of the incident. Let's go description. Okay, plus let me add some message here. Created by workflow. Okay, and then I'll just create this grinc task dot insert. That is insert. Now I'll just submit this. So in the run script activity also we can write that. Now I want to place it after this, right? So might be I'll just do join it here, and from here I'll join it to end. Okay, now I need to publish this to run, so I'll just publish this. Okay, now let's go and create a incident. We just go to new, caller can be anyone. I'll add incident to test workflow. Okay, and I'll just okay, we need to make the priority as 2, right? So I'll just make medium and medium. That will be moderate, so medium and high will be priority 2. Okay, I'll just save this. Okay, now let's go to incident tasks and let's refresh this. Okay, let me just go here, and okay, I'm not able to see the workflow as well here. Okay, let me check the condition again on the workflow. Let's go back and check out that first. Okay, that is checked out, and let me just go to properties now. Okay, I'll see conditions. Okay, we have added this condition, but we have not added this. Run workflow always, run workflow, run if no other workflows matched it, if no other workflows matched. Okay. So I'll say run always when this condition matches. Okay, we'll publish this again. Okay, let me create the new incident. Okay, I'll select the caller here. Let me select some caller and I'll add test incident, for example, and I'll set the priority to high. That is too high, and I'll just save this. Okay, now let me just go back to the incident tasks. Now I can see one task is created here by that workflow. Okay, now in server-side scripting, we are done with background script, business rules. Script includes UI actions, notification email scripts, inbound emails, actions, schedule jobs, script actions. We are not done with scripted REST API, so I'll just show that. But as I said, I'll complete this in my next video. And SP widget server-side script, this will see when we go to service portal. Okay, and fixed scripts done, relationships done. Server-side Glide APIs, we have already seen that. GlideRecord, GlideAggregate, GlideDateTime, GlideSystem. Okay, okay, and we discussed workflow run activity as well. So I'll just show how to write the script in the scripted REST API, but we'll discuss that in the next video. Okay, for scripted REST API, first for scripted REST API is for inbound API. For outbound API, we have REST message v2 API. Let me just show that in VG. Okay. So we have REST message v2. So this REST message v2 plugin is used to make the outbound API call. To have the inbound API call, we have the scripted REST API. So we can script here, and we can use the data coming from any third party tool, and we can process and record the actions in the service now. Okay, now I'll just open any one, and here we can see the resources. Okay, this is the scripted REST API, and we have the resources here, and we can write the script here in this, and this is our API. Sorry, this is our API endpoint. Okay, and here we can write the code. Okay, now we can discuss that more in our next upcoming video of integrations. Okay, now we'll start with client scripts, and we'll discuss the first use case, that is to get the data from server side to client side using display business rule and using Scratchpad. Okay, now to do that, I'll just create one display business rule on incident, and this can be used to set, for example, any field here. For example, we'll set assign to field using the caller field. Okay, we'll set the assign to as the manager of caller. Okay, so let me just configure business, and display business rule runs when the form. Now I'll just say store manager info. Okay, I'll just advanced, and this will be display business rule. Okay, and then I'll go to advanced, and then what we can do here is we can have g underscore scratchpad. Okay, we will store the information in this g underscore scratchpad. Okay, now after this we can define any variable. For example, I'll do manager info, that will be equal to current caller id dot manager. Okay, so this will be the sysid of the manager. Okay, let's save this. Now we can use this in the client script. Okay, so the data is passed from here to the client script. I'll create one client script here, set assign to. Okay, and then I'll say on load. Okay. Now, if you want to run this same business rule on the portal as well, then we'll say all. Okay. But we'll not be seeing that. But if we keep this all, then no issues at all. Okay. Then I'll just go here. Now we need to get the data from this scratchpad. Okay. The scratchpad is available there, so I'll just simply copy this and I'll go here, and I'll just print this first. Okay, so I have a function g underscore form dot add error message. Okay, on server side we have gs dot add error message, right? Same way we have this. So let's see what info we'll get here. Let me open this. It's empty because for able tutor we don't have any uh, manager, right? So we in in our last example, I think we added some other user here. Let me just filter that. For example, manager is not empty. Manager is not empty, and I'll run this. I'll select any person. Okay. Now let's save this. Now it is loaded, and we have the sysid of the manager here. Okay. Now we'll use this sysid to set the assigned field. So let's go here, and what I'll do is I'll just simply do. We have a function called set value here, g underscore form dot set value, and then we have to give the field name in the first parameter, and then second parameter will be the value. Okay, the value is this. Okay, I'll save this. Let's refresh that. We can see assigned field is populated. Okay, and in the client script we can use set read only function, set mandatory function. We use the set mandatory function in the UI action. The same function can be used here as well. Okay, and we have g underscore a user API here, and from that we can fetch the first name, last name, and all. So for example, let me just add this g underscore form dot add info message this time. Let's see, info message, and g underscore user dot first name. Okay, let me add some of them. First name, and then I'll add last name. I'll add the user ID. I'll add the username. Okay, and then I can add user dot has role. For example, I'll say security admin, security underscore admin. Let me just save this. Okay, I'll refresh this page. Now we have multiple info messages here. Okay, this is the first name, system administrator is the last name, this is the user ID of the logged in user, and this is the username, and uh, this is true. The user has security admin role. Okay. Okay. Now let me remove this all, and let's add one more thing here. G underscore user dot has role exactly, and I'll add ITIL. Okay. And then let's see. I'm the admin in the system. Then let's see if I get true or false for this. Okay, this we don't. I don't have the ITIL role here. That is why I don't get any uh, response here, because I get the ITIL role because I'm admin, but I don't have the ITIL role exactly. Like if I do admin here, then I'll get true. Let me refresh. Okay, let's look at the second use case. That we have two fields here, category and subcategory. I created a custom table here. These two fields are choice fields, but the choices are empty here in both the fields. We'll get the choices from this table. This is also a custom table. These are the categories. There are three categories: hardware, service desk, and software. Those three should go here in this choice. And based on what we are selecting, for example, if we're selecting software, then it should show me uh, these four subcategories in this list, in this choice. Okay, so this is our second use case. So let's do that. To do that, we have to write the business rule on this task table, service node task table, service node universe task table. Okay, so I'll do new. Okay, first one is on load client script to fetch the categories, and next one is the on change. Okay, now we have already created the client callable script include, so we'll use that now. Okay, and we'll do GlideAjax. Okay, now I'll say populate categories. Okay, then this will be on load. Okay, now I'll do variable GA, that is GlideAjax, equal to new GlideAjax, and then inside this we need to give the script include name, okay, as the parameter to GlideAjax. Okay, okay, now let's add the function name, that is like add ga.add pam, and then first parameter should be fixed, that is sys pam underscore name, and that should be the function of this script include. We have not created the function yet, so let's create the function. Okay, now we'll create the function like get categories. Okay, and function. Okay, and we'll say comma, and I'll just copy this name. Let me just save this. Okay, I'll give that function name here. Okay, get categories, and we don't need to pass any parameter here, so we will directly do get XML. Okay, and inside the get XML function, we will add the callback function. Okay, so I'll say process categories. Okay, and then I will write that function here, function process categories. Okay, I'll just copy it from here, and then I'll just do this. Okay, now let me just go here. So it should be response. So here they have hello world parse function, so I'll add the response here, and we need to copy this whole thing. Okay, so I'll just copy this and I'll add it here. Okay, so this is fixed. Okay, now whatever we return from that function, that will be available in the answer. Okay, now let me just add here. So let's check whether it's working fine or not. So I'll add error message and I'll just print answer here. Okay, now let's save this, and from categories I'll simply return some text for now for testing. Return testing. Okay, and let me just go back to that form. Okay, now this is the form. When it is loaded, we get testing here from this function. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll query that table. Okay, so let me just query variable gr category is equal to new glide record. Okay, and what we'll query this table. Okay, and we want only categories here, right? Hardware, service desk, and software. So if you see, that is duplicated data here in this column, right? So for that, what I'll do group by. So for that, what we need, glide aggregate. We have already done that. Okay, so glide aggregate, and I'll do glide aggregate on this table. Okay, and gr category. So I want all the data, so I'll not add any query, but I'll add group by. Okay. Now group by what field? The category field. So let me just check the name of the category field. That is u underscore category. That is u underscore category. Okay. And then I'll say gr category dot query. Okay. Now I'll push that in one array. Okay. So I'll say categories. That is categories array. And then I'll do while loop. I'll initiate the while loop. That is gr. Let me copy this. Dot next, and inside while loop we'll just push in categories dot push, and then what we'll push, that is u underscore category dot category dot to string. Okay, and I'll return that back here. Return categories. Okay, I'll save this. Okay, let me refresh the page here, and I'm getting error. So it's not written anything answer. Let me just check, is there anything wrong? Okay, the table name is wrong, I think. Okay, the table name is categories. ServiceNow categories. We have just added as ServiceNow category, ServiceNow universe. So let me just save this now, and let's refresh this again. Okay, now we are getting it as a array, right? Because we are sending the array from there. So whatever we send here, for example, the object or the array, then we need to stringify that first. Okay, so let me just save this. Okay, let me save. Okay, now I'll refresh this. Now I can see hardware, service desk, and software. Then we need to add that here, right? So let me just go back and let me remove this now. And as we are stringifying there, now we need to pass it here, right? So to make it array again, so we'll do json.parse. Okay, and then we'll do for loop variable I equal to 0, I is less than answer dot length, then I plus plus. Okay, then to add the option, we have a function called add option. Okay, add option, and we need to tell to field which field we need to add the option to, and that is category field, right? So let me just check u underscore category. So I'll add u underscore category. Okay, and then we need to say what should be the label. Okay, label is answer of 5, and we are keeping both label and value same. So I'll say like this. Okay, now this is the label and this is the choice, both are same for us. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, and let me refresh it now. Okay, now we can see three options here. Okay, now when I select hardware, that time I want the hardware subcategories here, so we'll write on change client script for that. Okay, okay, now let's duplicate this tab. Okay, and I'll write a client script here on change client script. Okay, now I'll create a new client script, call that populate subcategories. Say on change, and the field on which we have to write that is category. When category changes, that time I want to trigger this client script. Okay, so here again we'll call this GlideAjax. So I'll just copy this, and instead of process categories, I'll change process subcategories, and I'll copy this as well. So this will be process subcategories now. Okay, and here we have to create a new function. Let's create a new function. So I'll copy this. Okay, and I'll say get subcategories. Okay, and now we have to pass the subcategory here, right? So I'll take that as variable. We have to pass the category, right, for which we want to bring the subcategory. So that will be this dot get parameter, and here we need to pass the parameter that is this category. Okay, now we need to pass this from the client side. Okay, so I'll add here ga dot add param, and we'll pass this category here. And what is the category? So uh, uh, as we're doing this on change on the category field, so in the new value we'll get the new category value. So I'll just add new value here. Let me do the script include again. Okay, now I need to add this category here. Okay, so I don't need glide aggregate now, so I'll add glide record. Okay, and instead of group by, I'll add query. Okay, and u underscore category is equal to the category which we are passing from there. Okay, for that I'll just remove this. Now for that we will add the subcategory, and let me just check the subcategory u underscore sub underscore category. Okay, so we will push subcategory. So I'll just make this subcategories, and we'll return the subcategories here now. Okay, and let me just save this. In this script, we have to change u underscore category to u underscore subcategory. Okay, let me just save this. refresh the page again. Okay, with onload client script we got this. Okay, I have not done any change there, so I have still none. Now I'll do hardware. Okay, now it will bring me. Okay, it is bringing this. So there is something. Okay, we have not changed the. This should be get. Okay, now let me refresh. Okay, now I'll select hardware here, and then we see hardware 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. Okay, if I select service desk, then I have these. Okay, now we can see these are not removed, right? So we can remove this using remove option. Okay, when we add the values, it is adding all the subcategories here. Okay, earlier might be this is not visible because I was not sharing the entire screen. Now I'm sharing the entire screen. So when I change, for example, now if I change to hardware, then okay, let me refresh it once again. Okay, and I'll select the onload client script is not yet run. Okay, now I'll select hardware, so I can see the hardware subcategories here. Now I'll select service desk. Then I have service desk options here, subcategories, but these are not removed, so we need to remove them. So for that, what we'll do in client in the on change client script, we have new value and the old value. The For example, here when I change to service desk, the old value is hardware, so we'll remove all the subcategories for the hardware. So we'll call this GlideAjax again. Okay, now let's do here that thing. So I'll do this. Okay, and here what I'll do, I'll pass old value. Okay, and here I'll say remove subcategories, not process subcategories. I'll say remove subcategories. Okay, then I'll create one more same function like this, remove subcategories. Okay, and here I'll just add g underscore form dot remove, sorry, remove option. Okay, now first we'll remove the option for the old value, and then we'll add the option for the new value. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, let's refresh this. Then I'll add hardware, so I can see hardware choices here. Now I'll add service desk. Okay, now, okay, I think these are not removed for some reason. Let me just get subcategories, and then we are passing the old value, and then in remove categories we're removing the option from the subcategory. Okay, that should be removed actually. Okay, the issue here is we were, for example, if I select hardware and then hardware is visible, we were not saving the form here. So let me just save the form. So as we were not saving the form, this old value is always empty. Okay, now I have saved the form. Now the old value is hardware. Now I'll select the service desk. Then I'll get the service desk. Now the old value is the hardware one, subcategories are removed. Okay, now if I, without saving, if I select software again, then we see the same issue again here. So to solve this, what I'll do is I'll create one more hidden field. For example, let me just go to the form layout. Okay, I'll add old value, and that will be added here. Let's keep that on the form, let's not hide it now. Okay, now what I'll do is whenever I change it, the category, I'll save the old value, the new value in it. Okay, basically that will be old value when we change it, right? I'll do g underscore form dot set u underscore old underscore value, comma, with new value. Okay, and I'll do that here. Okay, and here I'll get the value g underscore form dot get value, and from where, from this field, and we'll trigger this only when we have some value in it. Okay, so if there is some value in this field, then only we'll trigger this GlideAjax, otherwise will not. Okay, so let me just save this. Okay, now let me refresh the. Okay, I'll change it to service desk. Service desk is stored here, and the value for service desk is shown here. Okay, now I'll change it to software. Software is stored here, and has seen the software values here. The service desk values are removed. I have not saved the form, but then also it is showing me the latest values. Okay. Now in the onload client script, I think it is open here. So I'll just hide this field. Okay. We can create another uh, onload client script as well, or else we can use the same. Okay. So what I'll say is u underscore old underscore value comma false. Okay, I'll say okay. Now let me okay. Now we don't have that here. I'll select service desk. I have service desk. I have not saved the form. I'll select software. Now I have software here. I'll select hardware. I have not saved the form yet, and I have hardware here. Okay. So this is how we can bring the data from server side using GlideAjax and use that in the client side. Okay. And now I'll tell you how to test. For example, I want to remove this on the form, but I want to test it. I don't want to add it to the client script. So for that, what we can do is we can do Shift, Control, Alt, and J. Okay. When we do that, this editor will open. Now here we can test any function. For example, I'll just test g underscore form dot add error message, and I'll say test. Okay. I want to see this works or not. So I'll test it here and I'll run the code. Now we can see that is added here. Okay. Now if I want to remove option, okay, and if I do u underscore sub underscore category comma, and then I'll say hardware one. Okay. Then if I run the script, that should be removed. Hardware one is removed. So this is how we can test. Control Shift Alt J, that will open the editor. Then we can test our client side code here. Server side code can be tested in the background script, and client side code can be tested here. Okay. Okay, now let's start with UI policies. For UI policies, we'll go through one use case first. We'll discuss two use cases. First use case is on load. I want to make this category mandatory. Okay. Now we'll not use UI policy actions. We'll use script to do that. Okay. So let me just create a UI policy now. Go to configure UI policies. Create a new one. I'll say make category. Okay. So I'll not add any condition because on load I want to make that mandatory, right? So I'll check this onload checkbox. Okay, now I'll save this. Usually we don't do scripting here, but as we are going through ServiceNow developer course and mainly we're focusing on script, so we'll do it through script. So in normal case, we'll go and create UI policy action and we'll select the category field here and we'll make mandatory true, right? But here what we'll do, we'll go here and run script. So same action we'll do with script here. Okay, so if executes true, what means is if the condition executes to true but we don't have any condition, it means it is always true. So we'll just go here and add g underscore form, so we have access to glide form here as well. So we'll do g underscore form dot set mandatory and u underscore category is the field, right? Category, and then simply true. Let's save this. Okay, now let me just refresh the page. Okay, now we can see that the category is true now. Okay, our second use case is to hide the subcategory when this checkbox hide subcategory is true. I added one extra field here. Okay, so now let's go and create one more UI policy. I'll duplicate this tab and I'll do configure UI policies, new hide category. Okay, now let me go to when to apply. Okay, now if we want to do something on category, for example, if we want to apply the category condition here, so I'll not be having any values here because these categories we are bringing from server side on load and we are adding the options, so those options are not available here. Okay, if those are added in the dictionary, these choices are added in the dictionary, then those will be visible here and we would have added the condition on that category field as well. Okay, but now our condition is when hide subcategory is true, that time I want the script. Okay, so when the condition is true, we want to hide the g underscore form dot set display. Okay, and that is u underscore sub underscore category field of false. So we want to hide it, right? If it is true, then we want to hide it. If it is false, then we want to show it, right? So that script will write here. Okay, when the condition matches, we'll execute this script. When condition fails, we'll execute this script. So it should be reverse, right? So it will be true. Okay, and this run script UI type is desktop, that will run in the native ServiceNow UI. If you want to run it on both native and service portal, then we'll do all. Okay, let me now refresh the screen. Okay, I'll just click on this. That is hidden now. If I uncheck, then that is visible again. Okay, so this is how we can write script in UI policies. Okay, now we'll just see catalog UI policies and catalog client scripts. We'll not do any use case on that, because that is exactly same as what client scripts we have done, and what we have done for the UI policies. Okay, so let me open one catalog item. Here we are dealing with the fields of the table. There I will be dealing with the variables of the catalog item. Okay, so let me just go here to maintain items. Okay, I'll open any, and let me just scroll down. Okay, we don't have any variables here, so let me just go back and open one where we have some variables. Okay, now we can see variables here in this one, this catalog item, Apple iPhone 6s. Okay, so these are the questions. So let me just add the technical name as well here. So if I add name, okay, now we'll add the client script or UI policy, and we'll use these variable names. Okay, so if I say g underscore form dot get value and then replacement, so it will give me the value of the replacement. Okay, if I want to set this mandatory, g underscore form dot set mandatory this field and then true. Okay, it is same as what we had discussed in um, client scripts and UI policies. And we have option here catalog client scripts, and we have option to write catalog UI policies here. Okay. Okay, now from client side scripting, we are done with client scripts, catalog client scripts, UI policies, catalog UI policies, and the client side Glide APIs. Also, we have seen two APIs, that is Glide Form and Glide User. Okay, okay. Now we'll go through jelly scripting, okay. And we can write jelly scripting in UI pages and UI macros in dynamic content. So let me create a UI page, a simple UI page with a use case to show all the incidents in a table on the UI page. Okay, so I'll just create a new UI page. I'll give I'll name it as incident. Okay. Now to show the incidents, I need to get the incidents first, right? So I'll query. I'll do glide record again. Okay. So let me open the incident table first. Okay. Now I'll glide record on this table. To glide record on that table, when the UI page loads, we have a tag here that is g evaluate, g colon evaluate. Okay. And I'll close that tag. Okay, now inside this we can write the server side. Okay, I'll write variable grinc is equal to new glide record incident. Okay, then I'll say grinc dot query. I want to query all the. Okay, now I'll create an array here. Okay, incidents is equal to this. Okay, now inside while loop, I'll go while grinc dot next, and then inside that I'll do incidents dot push. What will push? Will push an object with number and short description. Okay, so I'll say number is grinc dot number dot to string. Okay, I want the short description as well, so I'll say short desk. Okay, is grinc dot short underscore description dot to string. Okay, now after that we have a for loop in jelly scripting, so that is j colon for each. Okay, j colon for each, and now we have to mention the items, the array basically, that is. Okay, what is the array? This incident is the array. Okay, now to read it here we have the syntax dollar and then curly braces. Inside the curly brace, we need to write this incident. Okay. Now we need to loop through each record, right? So for that, we have variable equal to, and then inside quotes, we have to write jvar, and then underscore. You can give any variable name. For example, I'll give incident. Okay. Now we'll close this, and we'll close the for each. Okay. Okay. Now before this, what we'll do is we'll initialize a table here. Table. Okay. And then we'll add tr, and we'll close the tr, and inside that we'll write th, the headers. Okay. And slash th. Okay. The first will be what number, and the second will be, let me just copy this. Okay. And this will be short description, right? Short description. Okay. Okay, now we have added the th outside, but the td will add it inside the for loop. Okay, there will be many incidents, right? So we'll have for loop here. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll add a tr here. Okay. Okay, now how many tds we need? We need two tds, like we have two th, so we need two tds. Okay, the first td. Okay, let me just close that. Okay, here we'll write this is one incident. Okay, one item of the array. Okay, one element of the array. So I'll take that one element here. Okay, and then dot, then we have number here. Okay, so I'll say number. Okay, and second one, it is short desk. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, who can access this UI page? So I'll add admin role. Okay, I think something wrong here, saying line number 20. So okay, we have not closed the table, so let's close the table after for each. Okay, slash table. Okay, now let me just bring this here, this one also here, and I'll push this tr. Okay, yep. Now let me just close this, and now it is there. Now to check this, we need to click on try it. So let me just open a duplicate tab, and I'll try it. Okay, so let me just go back. There is some error here. Yeah, I think we need to add this in dollar, and then curly braces. Dollar, and then curly brace. Okay, now let me refresh this. Okay, now we can see in number we have the number, in short description we have the short description here. Okay, now we can add the style uh, to the table, and we can add style to the th as well. So we can use style tag, style slash style. Okay, and then I'll say for table, say width 100%, and then we'll add border to td. Okay, td comma th, for both we'll add the border 1 pixel solid. That's it. Let me just save this. Okay, now let me refresh the page. Okay, so we can see we can add the styling as well. Now the border is added, and color is also red, and the width of the table is 100%. Okay, now let me write a UI macro. So for that, I'll just type UI macros, and I'll open this. So we'll create a UI macro, and we'll add that to the UI page, and then we'll test the UI page. Okay, now let's do that here. Okay, I will write the same code, but with the while loop now. Okay, we use the for loop in the UI page, but we'll use while loop now. Incident details macro. Okay, and now let me just copy the whole code. Okay, we'll just paste it here. Okay, now let me just scroll up. So I don't want this now, this incidents. Okay, but I don't want while loop here. We'll do that in the jelly itself. Okay, we'll just query it, and this in the we added this variable here, right? So we'll add that variable in the g value itself now. Variable is equal to jvar underscore, I'll say incidents. Okay. Now I'll remove this one, or else I'll just change it to while. Okay, so I'll remove this whole thing. Okay, so we have to add here while test is equal to, and then inside the test, again we need to use dollar curly braces. Inside the curly brace we need to use this. Now this is our glide record object, this one, grinc. Okay, so I have to use this, and I'll say while jvar incidents dot next, like how we do in glide record. And then here I'll say jvar incidents, okay, dot number dot to string. Okay, and here jvar incidents dot short description, short underscore description. Now we want the field name, right? Because jvar incident is a glide record object now. Dot to string. Okay, and this should be y. Okay, now let me just save this. So we have just changed the for loop to while loop. Okay, now I cannot test this macro here. Okay, now I need to add it to either UI page, or I can add it to the formatter as well to show it on any tables form. For example, if I want to show it on the incident form, then I can add it here, but that I will show in my dedicated video for jelly scripting. But for now we'll add it to UI page. Okay, now from the UI page we'll remove the whole code. Okay, now the code will come from where? From the macro. Okay, so we'll just invoke the macro here. So for that we have one tag, g colon macro underscore invoke. Okay, and then we have to give which macro. Okay, so I'll just go and copy the name of this macro. Okay, and I'll save this here. Okay, then slash. Okay, so now let me just save this. Okay, now we can try the UI page. The UI page will invoke the macro, and in the macro we have the code for to show the incidents. Okay, now I'll just duplicate this tab to try it. Okay, now let me just click on try it. Okay, it's not showing, so might be there is something wrong here. Okay, I think we need to add object is equal to true. Okay, let me just save it. Okay, now let me just refresh it again. Okay, it's not working here. So I'll see here we have to add grinc and then semicolon. This is the syntax. Okay, now we can use it here. Now let me just check it again. Okay, I'll save that. Let me refresh the page. Okay, now we are getting false and false. So it is going in the while loop, but it is giving us false. So might be we need to use get value function. I think this will not work here. So let me just use get value and then number. Okay, and should be small. Okay, now let me just check with one field. If it works, then we will add it to the other as well. Let me refresh. Yeah, I think it's working, and it's because of this line. So let me just remove this one and add get value. Okay, and then inside it I'll add short description. Now let me save it again, and now let me just refresh this. Okay, so now we have the response here. Okay, in the UI page we are just calling the UI macro. Okay, we are invoking the macro here, and in the macro we have written the code, and in the macro we have queried the table, and we have used while loop to print the data here. Okay. Okay, now we'll just check the dynamic contents. To add the dynamic content to the dashboard, it is added in the dashboard. So open any dashboard here, and then click on plus. Okay, and then go to the widget category. So we'll go to content blocks, and inside content blocks we'll add new dynamic content. Okay, and then I'll click on add. So we have this dynamic content here. Then just add click. Just do click here, then we can write the jelly script here as well. Okay, the same way how we are written in the UI macro and in the UI page. Okay, so I'll not do that. You can give it a try. Okay, Okay, we have seen UI pages, UI macros, and dynamic contents in jelly scripting, and we are only left with a service portal now. So we'll continue with service portal. Okay, now I have created a blank widget here, that is incident details. And how to create the widget and page, you can go and watch my service portal playlist. So this is the blank widget, and we have the blank page here where we have added that incident details widget here. Now let me just try this. Uh, okay, page. Okay, now this is blank, so we don't have anything here. Okay, now we'll add the same code which we did in UI macro in here. Okay, now on this, let me just copy this. Okay, now on server side we can write the glide record and all. This is server side script, we can write the server side script here. Okay, now I'll just use the loop here. So what we can do is here I'll just add data dot incidents. Okay, now this data object is available in HTML and client side both sides, so that's why we'll do data dot incidents to access it on the client side, sorry, on the HTML side. Okay, now I'll do while grinc dot next. Okay, then I'll push data dot incidents dot push, and then we'll push the object. Okay, number, and then this grinc dot get value number, and then we'll push short desk, that is grinc dot get value short description. Okay, okay. Then here on HTML side we'll go, and let's go here and copy this code. Okay, now let me just remove this. Okay, now we have table, so let me just close the table here. Okay, okay. So now we need this, right? So we need the in the UI page we use for loop, and we are using while loop here. So here we need that. So for that we have ng repeat here. Okay, in service portal. So what I'll do is I'll do ng repeat on the tr itself. Ng repeat. Okay, now what we have to repeat, this is the array, right? So I'll do ng repeat is equal to that is item in data dot incidents. It's like we are adding the for loop on data dot incidents. Okay, now I'll just close this. Okay, now inside that I will write the td. Okay, so in td we have two tds, right? So I'll write one more td. Okay, now inside this I'll write item dot then number here. Okay, now the syntax here to write is double curly braces, and inside that I'll write item dot number. Okay, and here double curly braces, item dot short desk. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, and let's refresh this page. So I have the result here. Now if I want to add the css, then I'll go here to the UI macro. I'll just copy this css. I'll go to the widget, and we have the section here for css. I'll just add the css here. Okay, let me just save this, and let me refresh the page. Okay, now the css is applied. We'll look at the UI scripts. I think we missed that in the client scripts part. Now the UI scripts are the like how we store the server side code in the script includes. Same way we can store the client side code in the UI script, and then we can use that in the widget in service portal in UI pages or in any client script. Okay, and let me just name it something test util, for example. Okay, now I want to use that on service portal, right? So I'll make the UI type to all, and I'll simply do alert here. Okay, alert test, or else I'll call the function. Sorry, I'll write a function here, function test, and then alert. Okay, now I'll just save this. Okay, now to call this on UI, sorry, in the widget editor, sorry, in the widget, we have to go to the widget in the native UI, and we need to add that as a dependency in the widget. So we'll scroll down to the related lists. So we have a related list called dependencies. So we'll create a new dependency. Okay. Now I'll say test. Okay, and I'll just save this. Okay, in the JS includes, I'll just create new. Okay, I can give some name to this as well, so I'll name it as test, and then UI script. Now we can load any JavaScript library as well here with the URL, so we can give the URL directly, but I want to load that through a UI script, so I'll select the UI script. I'll write test util, and then we'll select that. Okay, now let me just save this. Okay, the function is tested, so I'll just go to widget editor. Okay, let me just refresh this. Now I have access to that test function in the widget because we have added that as dependency now. So I'll just add it here. Test, that's the function, right? So let me just save it. Okay, now let's refresh the page again. So we should get the alert here. Okay, so so we have the alert here, that this alert is coming from the UI script. Okay, so this is how we can use the UI script, where we can keep the reusable code, and that this UI script can be called in multiple widgets and UI scripts, sorry, UI pages and all. So we can keep the reusable code here in the UI script. Okay, client side reusable code. So this is how we can write the code in Service Portal. You can watch my playlist for more on Service Portal. Okay. Okay, now we are at the end of our course. I hope you like this course, and if you like this, then please hit the thumb icon and share this video with your friends. And if you have any questions, then you can add it to the comments. I'll try to answer them. And for more videos like this, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.